So kick-off just moments away. And Darren Bent, who will be the key in that Villa starting 11 tonight?
When I always look at me being a former centre-forward, I always look at Ollie Watkins because I just think he offers so much. Of course, you get to get off the mark in the Champions League this year, but I mean, it's not without trying. I mean, his movement's always good, he holds the ball up well, and he's not scared to bring others in as well, so I think he'll be key. But also as well, I do think that the relationship between Diego Carlos and Tyrone Mings haven't played at all this season. Tyrone Mings coming back, it'd be interesting to see, because it's almost a makeshift back four. Haven't played together ever, I don't think so. I think Tyrone Mings and Diego Carlos, that partnership, that communication, I think could be key.
Villa are daring to dream in the Champions League this season. Next up on the tour, a night in Bruges. We are off and underway, live right here on Talksport, with Inter against Arsenal to come later on. Club Brugge playing from left to right in the first half. These are quite tight, compact surroundings at the Jan Bredel Stadium. And the fans are very close to the field of play. You can hear the noise of the Aston Villa supporters in the southeast corner of the stadium. Villa, all in white, will play from right to left tonight, and Club Brugge in the blue and black, playing from left to right. Javi Martinez with an early touch, the Aston Villa goalkeeper, plays it forward to Diego Carlos, midway inside his own half the field. If you're just joining us, Martinez in goal, Concert, Carlos, Mings and Maatsen for Aston Villa, Kamara and Tielemans holding, McGinn, Rodgers and Bailey in support of Watkins for Club Brugge, Simon Mignolet the goalkeeper, Saiss, Ordóñez, Michele and De Kuyper at the back, Nielsen, Van Aken and Jashari in midfield, Skov Olsen, Jutla and Zolis are the front three. Tyrone Mings in possession on the near side of the field is number 5 on the back of the white shirt, plays the ball back towards Tielemans, 10 yards into opposition territory, early ball down the middle to John McGinn, who's shrugged aside in the middle of midfield by Kasper Nielsen. And here come Club Brugge with the left back to Kuyper, skipping back in field and then playing the ball to the centre half Michele. And an early goal would be nice for Aston Villa to settle themselves down, but they know that with a great record so far this season in the Champions League, they don't necessarily need to force the issue. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0, and here's the former Villa striker Darren Bent.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Both teams playing that 4-2-3-1. I'm really looking forward to watching Hans Van Aken, because of course linked to West Ham. I believe he even said that he wanted to
make the move potentially as Zolis crosses from the left for Club Brugge, right across the face of goal. Nobody there in blue and black to tap it in, and Ian Maatsen has to get across to win Aston Villa a throw in their left back position, but Konsa was caught under the flight of the ball there, and Zolis, the former Norwich winger, well, it's a lovely ball across the face of goal, just begging for someone to tap it in.
Yeah, great play from Zolis there. I mean, he shows him down the line, he puts in a really, really telling cross, but fortunately Jutla, he's on the edge of the box, and as a centre forward you want to see him get in there 6-yard box, because if he's in there he's got to tap him from 2 yards, and it's 1-0 to Club Brugge. I don't really like when the ball's out wide and you see the centre forward hanging the edge of the box. It's very unlikely you're going to score a goal from there.
Well, he never really made the grade at Norwich City, did Christos Zolis. Spent much of his time, including the whole of last season, away from the club, out on loan elsewhere. Pastures new in Belgium for him this season. Jashari, the Swiss international for Club Brugge, lays the ball left to the overlapping De Kuyper. Early cross towards the near post, and it's steered away from danger by Yuri Tielemans. Now the ball is at the feet of Rodgers, who very calmly will tap it back towards Mings. I think the referee has spotted some sort of infringement here. The game has definitely been stopped. Nicky Hayen, the coach of Club Brugge, in conversation with one of his assistants. It's 0-0, 3 minutes into the game.
I'm guessing they're booing Yuri Tielemans for his Anderlecht background, I'm guessing, because every single time he's touched the ball so far I've gone, oh, they're booing him, but obviously I then realised, I forgot that he was obviously a member of the Anderlecht team.
Yep, boos for the Belgian international back on home soil. Unai Emery watches on from his seat in the dugout right next to his assistant Paco Ayestaran. It wasn't a happy 53rd birthday for Unai Emery with that thumping defeat away at Tottenham at the weekend, and Villa have had an indifferent run of form of late, no win in their last 3, and a very tricky trip to the current Premier League leaders Liverpool on Saturday, in a game that will bring you live on Talksport.
It was just so unlike them against Spurs. I mean, first half I thought they played really well, but that second half it was almost like they imploded. There was gaps everywhere. They were allowing space between the fullback and the centre backs. I mean, I guess for Aston Villa, they're still on their journey. They're still trying to develop as a team and as a squad. Unai Emery's still trying to get them to where he believes they can get to. So there's always going to be bumps in the road, but you just don't expect it because of how good they've been since Unai Emery took the job.
Here is Maatsen, red boots on, left back position, rolls the ball backwards to Mings. No great pace to the game so far, certainly not with Villa in possession, almost a walking pace at the moment. Very leaden footed. Martinez in the short sleeve shirt, up to the edge of his penalty area, and a square ball to Diego Carlos. So in the 5th minute, Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Long ball high downfield by Diego Carlos. Hit it away only as far as Bailey. Quick feet on the edge of the penalty area. Lays the ball square in infield to McGinn. Back out wide to the far side in Esri Konsa. And now Kamara with the curly hair. Konsa again. Back to the halfway line where Diego Carlos is waiting and picks up possession. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. As well as our commentary of Inter against Arsenal later this evening, we'll keep you up to date with all of the action around the grounds in the Championship. A number of big games taking place, and a choice of listening for you in Europe as well tomorrow night, including Manchester United against PAOK, which will be our Talksport commentary. Doesn't really feel like there's any jeopardy in the game at all so far. It doesn't quite have the feel of a Champions League encounter, but Villa have won it back half the pitch with Rodgers. He looks to thread it straight through the middle towards McGinn, and it didn't reach him. He wanted handball against Van Aken sliding in. Cleared away by Seiss, not a particularly good clearance. Tielemans wins it back for Villa just inside opposition territory, and he'll play it back now to Diego Carlos, 0-0.
Yeah, both teams not really playing with any kind of tempo. No team's really pressing the ball, trying to get after it. But I mean, it's a really big evening, I think, as well for Leon Bailey. I mean, we know the talent's there, we know the ability's there. Yet to score a goal in any capacity this season for Aston Villa. But he's got all the ability. I mean, he's got a lovely left foot. He can go past the fullback as well. He can go either way as well. So I'm expecting more from him tonight. This is a big occasion for him.
And Rodgers tried to dart up the middle, and he shrugs aside Van Aken. He lays it square to McGinn, all a bit narrow for Aston Villa momentarily, and Club Brugge have got plenty in the blue and black striped shirts behind the ball. And Club Brugge, who were champions of Belgium for a 19th time last season. Aston Villa go back to the halfway line, and Esri Konsa. What a start in their return to the Champions League campaign it has been. A 3-0 victory away at Young Boys on the opening match day, and then back-to-back home wins, memorably against Bayern Munich, backed up with a 2-0 win over Bologna. Mings has nudged it to his left, and Maatsen now midway inside opposition territory. Back to Tielemans.
I definitely think that Bayern Munich result gave them that real belief that they do belong here.
Yep.
Because I can understand Aston Villa haven't been in the Champions League since they won it back in the 80s. So I just think beating someone like Bayern, yeah, you beat Young Boys, but it's not really a big. You don't expect that. People expected that, should I say? But beating Bayern.
Bailey's reverse ball in towards Rodgers is slightly overhit, and Simon Mignolet, familiar figure, former teammate of yours down at Sunderland, going further back.
Do you know what? Fantastic goalkeeper, Mignolet, but the only thing that went against him was that he had Craig Gordon in front of him. Now, Craig Gordon at that stage was incredible, one of the best goalkeepers I ever played with, but you could always tell that Mignolet was always going to go to the next level.
And Club Brugge have possession with Jashari. 10 yards shy of the halfway line, almost standing at the lip of the centre circle. Now infield from the near side of the field, Skov Olsen finds the captain, Van Aken. A dominant midfield presence, Van Aken, and Darren mentioned that he had been linked with West Ham over the summer. 6'5" in the middle midfield. You don't often see that. Lovely crossfield ball by McKaylee to find Seiss, the right fullback, bursting forward. And now Skov Olsen, number 7, looks to tear beyond Tielemans. Tielemans gets across, does enough to shepherd the ball out of play, albeit at the expense of a throw to Club Brugge deep inside the Aston Villa half. Unai Emery issuing instructions from the near side touchline. 16 or 17 points, he says, should be enough to get Aston Villa through to the knockout stages. 0-0 tonight.
Yeah, I think he's probably right with that, and that's why if Aston Villa could get the job done, that's 12 points. At least then going into the final group stages, he might be able to rest one or two. At the minute, he probably wants to get the job done and then maybe not take his foot off the gas, because I don't think Unai Emery's like that, but it will get to a point where they're flying in the Premier League, they're doing well in the Champions League. I know they're out of the League Cup, but it's one of them where you just think to yourself, do you know what, do what you need to do.
Given away by Jutla for Brugge, and Aston Villa straight on the counter-attack. Ollie Watkins bursting into the penalty area. Ordonez came across and made a good interception to whip it off the toes of Watkins, as he was only had Ordonez between him and the goal. And now the home team break with Seiss over the halfway line. Was he fouled by Ian Maatsen? The referee has blown his whistle. I think he's pulled the play back for a foul earlier on in the move. And it's a Club Brugge free kick back towards their right full-back position. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Big opportunity there for Ollie Watkins. Just didn't really do anything, really. I mean, Ordonez does really well defensively, but Watkins there in that position, he's running full pelt of the defender. You want him to shift it or maybe drop a little step over and go either left or right. He almost just ran straight at the defender, and it was almost a void of ideas as to go past him. But we've seen Ollie Watkins in that position so many times, go past the defender and get a shot off. So a little bit of an opportunity gone there.
And 5 goals this season for Ollie Watkins. Tonight he seeks his first since the 19th of October in the Premier League away at Fulham. John Duran on the bench again tonight. There was some speculation that he might be handed a fourth start of the season, John Duran, but not so.
Do you know what? I was expecting him to start. Why, I don't know, because Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa has been so consistent and so good. But when you look at John Duran, I mean, he's only 20 years old, 8 goals in 15 games this season, has scored 2 out of the 3 Champions League games, and we all saw the absolutely spectacular finish against Bayern Munich. I mean, what a finish. I thought maybe he'd get a little start today. And again, it's credit to him, because I know a lot of players out there, if they're not playing games when they're in this type of form, they maybe throw their toys at the plan, sulk a little bit, but every single time he plays, he's got an impact.
Neat layout by Watkins back to McGinn in a congested area midway inside the Club Brugge half. They knock it left to Tielemans, long way out, left-footed shot high over the top. You can tell by the ironic cheers, but as we know, he can hit them from range.
Yeah, it's on his weaker side there. I mean, he never really gets hold of it, about 10 yards outside the penalty box on his weaker foot. But as you said there, I remember him hitting one in the FA Cup final.
Yeah,
I think against Chelsea.
To win it for Leicester.
He has got a fantastic strike and a lovely range of passing as well, and a really, really nice footballer.
That was the 2021 FA Cup final against Chelsea, as you say, Darren. Aston Villa win the ball back on the halfway line. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0 in the Champions League tonight. And Villa aiming for a bit of Champions League era history, looking to become the first team to win their first 4 matches of a Champions League campaign without conceding a single goal. Headed by Bailey, back to Konsa in the right-back area. Konsa turns away neatly on the far side from Zolis, then has his shirt tugged, obvious foul. And free kick quickly given by the referee. I mean, you're absolutely right to say that there's a real confidence and a poise about Aston Villa. There's not remotely at one stage been a sense that they're overwrought by playing at the top level in Europe.
Not at all. I mean, the young boys' result, as I said, they gave him confidence, but I genuinely believe, because even Bologna, I didn't really feel that they could hurt Aston Villa, but beating one of Europe's elite in Bayern Munich, who've got so much European history, certainly in the Champions League, have won it multiple times, to go and beat them and put in that level of performance, I just think it's given everyone around the club, not just the players, the supporters, made them believe, the manager, and even teams around Europe looking at Aston Villa going, well, do you know what, considering this is their almost debut season in such a long time, they look so comfortable at this level. It looks like they've been playing at this level for many years.
And Villa just settling into the game. 12 and a half minutes in, live on Talksport, and we haven't really had any sort of clear-cut opportunity at goal just yet. There was that good ball across the 6-yard box by Zolis for Club Brugge, but nobody anywhere near being able to tap it in. And Saiss in the right-back position, back to Ordonez, the centre-half, number 4. Now there's Simon Mignolet.
There's no real tempo to even win the ball back. Both teams in possession are almost playing kind of half-hearted.
We're going to have won it back, though, on the edge of the penalty area, and it's laid to Rodgers, who steers the ball just wide via deflection from the edge of the D. In good goal-scoring form of late, Morgan Rodgers. And he got a good connection with that right-footed effort, fizzing it towards the bottom corner. And he got a nick off the defender to go wide for a corner, Darren Bent.
Well, that was one of the first times. I was just about to say there was no real tempo in trying to win the ball back. And the first time Villa really almost step onto Club Brugge and try and win the ball back high up, they get an attempt on goal. Maybe, moving forward, that's the way to kind of maybe really put this Club Brugge side under pressure.
Bailey, yellow boots on, is going to take it in front of the home end here. Away to the left-hand side at the Jan Bredel Stadium. Bailey takes the corner short to John McGinn. Now Tielemans, corner of the penalty area, far side of the field, back infield to Ian Maatsen, and the referee spotted something. I'm not entirely sure what, actually, but he has given Club Brugge a free kick. Was there some jostling by Kamara off the ball that he didn't like?
I think he blocked. I think it's a really well-worked corner, but I think Boubacar Kamara is just doing a little bit too much. He was almost not allowing the defender to go and press the ball, and he's holding him a little bit, and I mean, when you do it as blatant as that, I mean, there's blocking, but there's also holding someone, and I just think he was so blatant with it.
Bailey now scampers infield from the right, lays it square to Tielemans, pokes it through the gap to Bailey again. He's 25 yards out, onto Watkins, and the defender came across not entirely convincingly there, Brandon McKaylee, but he did just enough to smuggle it away from Watkins, and the ball is back with Mignolet. But a quarter of an hour into the game, you are starting to see that Aston Villa intent, Darren Bent.
Yeah, it was a little bit tight there. It was a lovely interchange between Leon Bailey and Yuri Tielemans, and the idea was right to kind of try and slide it through the lines to Ollie Watkins, but I think when you're 20 yards out and it's so congested, have a shot. Take a shot from there, because the pass has to be so precise.
High ball downfield for Club Brugge. Zolis with his back to goal, and he wins a free kick off the retreating Diego Carlos. Club Brugge have won 1 and lost 2 in the league phase so far. Heavy defeats at home to Dortmund and away at Milan last time out there. A solitary victory was at Sturm Graz on match day 2 in early October. Free kick is 30 yards out, left of centre as we look at it. And Aston going to have a little bit of defending to do as the atmosphere picks up in the game. Really, for the first time, it's goalless.
Yeah, it is. And you look at from a defensive standpoint, Aston Villa, when you look at the size, Ezri Konsa, Diego Carlos, Tyrone Mings, I mean, they're all big guys there. And obviously, of course, Martinez, the goalkeeper, who comes for pretty much most things. I just think set play, I can't see Club Brugge really hurting Aston Villa this way, unless they change the angle and maybe it's a slid across the floor like with Zolis earlier. I think if they're going to put it in there straight from this type of range, I think it favours Aston Villa.
It's laid square to Zolis and then steered back infield for the left-footed shot, which is well saved by the goalkeeper. De Kuyper, ambitious from range, and through a crowd of bodies, and Martinez's handling was, as so often is the case, up to scratch.
I mean, if you're going to try and beat, De Kuyper, it's a nice strike, but you're going to beat one of the best goalkeepers in world football from a fully 30 yards. When he can clearly see it, it would have had to been one end of a strike to be able to do that, but it wasn't. But again, it was really well worked from Club Brugge, because as I said, they would have looked at the size of Aston Villa and gone, if they're just going to put it straight in there from that particular range, they're probably not going to get much joy, so they tried to change the angle.
It would be a yellow card for Nielsen for a late challenge on Tielemans. A tackle from behind, nowhere near the ball, and the German referee Tobias Stieler produces the yellow card on the 17th minute, and despite the Dane Nielsen's complaints, won't change the decision. Once had a trial with Manchester City, did Casper Nielsen, but he is booked. Actually caught Tielemans on the Achilles there. I can't believe the appeals from Club Brugge.
I wonder if that was a collective as well, because there's been a few times where maybe getting carried away with the crowd because they're booing Yuri Tielemans, where they've just left a little bit on him, where he's passed it, they've given him a little shove in his back, they've clipped his heels a couple of times. So I just wonder if it's a collective.
He isn't the most popular man in the stadium, is he, by any means? Watkins with his back to goal on the halfway line, turns away from Ordonez impressively, and a lovely ball out to the right hand side. It fizzes across the surface, and Bailey can't quite keep it in play. You could see the intent from Watkins, and Bailey actually usually you'd think would have the pace to keep a ball like that in play, but it just ran away from him.
But you know what, that pass from Ollie Watkins for me is perfect. That's where Leon Bailey should be, because he's put it in front of him, so his first touch takes it forward. And the fact Leon Bailey's been a little bit square, I think it's the perfect pass from Ollie Watkins in that scenario.
Seiss, 19-year-old fullback, blonde-haired, with the ball out to the left-hand side and De Kuyper. Now Zolis on the overlap, down by the bit of corner flag. He whips in the cross, right-footed towards Skov-Olsen at the back post, headed away by Maatsen. Impressively, given that Skov-Olsen is much the taller of those two players. Now Bailey with his back to goal has to go backwards to Konsa in the right-back area. He's under pressure from Zolis. He's been fouled by Zolis. Again, the Club Brugge fans screaming at the referee. But it is an Aston Villa free kick, close to where those Villa fans are located, in the corner of the stadium. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0 live on Talksport.
Really clever from Konsa there, obviously drawing the foul. But even as attackers, and I was guilty of it as well at times, where if you put any kind of hand on the defender's back, or you touch him a little bit in that area where he's just outside his own box, they're going to go over and they get the foul every single time. So I think if you're Zolis there, Christoph Zolis, don't even touch him at all, because then Ezri Konsa's got a decision to make. Does he clear it? Does he still try and play out from the back? We almost take that option away from him.
High ball downfield is way overhit by Tyrone Mings. Couple of bounces and it'll drift into the gloves of Mignolet again. Aston Villa yet to test the former Liverpool goalkeeper, who is 36 now, into his 5th year as Club Brugge #1 goalkeeper. Jashari collects possession for Club Brugge. He's midway into the Club Brugge half of the field and sat right between the two centre-halves. Long ball over the top by Michele. Zolis onside. Martinez thought about coming, then had to backpedal. Zolis left-handed to the penalty area, skips infield. He's seen his cross come shot, blocked by a combination of Diego Carlos and Boubacar Kamara. Villa did look for a flag, which wasn't forthcoming, and replays would suggest a little monitor in our commentary position that Zolis was onside.
To be fair, Club Brugge have done that really well this first half, where they've timed their runs to perfection.
And they've got the ball on the corner of the penalty area now with the number 9 Jutla. Back it goes to Ordóñez, congested area, dinks it up the middle, and Jutla was stretching forward and it skips off the turf and goes through to Martinez. Very good ball from the centre-half right down the middle, aimed at the number 9. And Martinez, I think, quite grateful that it's bounced through to him. Aston Villa still yet to concede in this season's Champions League, remember, and it is still 0-0.
I mean, if Joe Ordóñez, if he connects with that pass, that's one of the passes of the season, because it's not even on really, it's so narrow, so congested, and he's managed to find a little bit of space and just try and feed it through. I mean, Jutla, he's what, studs away from it, but I mean, the attempt was incredible, but if that pass makes it, fantastic.
Ollie Watkins at the other end can't get beyond Scott Olsen, who shepherds it back to Mignolet, and he will hammer the ball high downfield up towards the halfway line. Mings tangling with Jutla, and this time Jutla wins the free kick. Arms outstretched on the near side. Nicky Hayen is the Club Brugge head coach, wants a yellow card, and that's not going to be forthcoming from the referee. It is worth saying only 3 other clubs yet to concede in the Champions League this season, as Aston Villa win the ball through Rodgers, and McGinn puts it forward to Watkins, the defenders backpedaling, and Watkins rolls it just wide of the near post. Brilliant early effort. Mignolet was totally stranded. That might have just kissed the edge of the post on its way behind, possibly via deflection, and Aston Villa go very close for the first time in the game. It's still 0-0, only just.
Fantastic from Ollie Watkins. First of all, Yuri Tillemans winning the ball high, but Ollie Watkins there, and that's what we spoke about earlier. He shifts it maybe half a yard, and he does what all good centre forward should do when you're in that position there on the edge of the box. He shoots back through the defender's legs where the goalkeeper's unsighted, and if this hits the target, he scores, because the goalkeeper can't see it, but it just trickles past the post. But that's better from Aston Villa going forward. Those little combination plays.
The goal kick was given in the end, but easily the closest that Aston Villa have come to taking the lead so far. 0-0. Over the top goes Van Aken, the Club Brugge captain. Early ball down the left-hand side, inside left channel from De Kuyper towards Zolis. Across came Contra initially, and then Diego Carlos forced into a rather hurried clearance. Out of play into the upper tier of the two-tiered stand on the far side of the field. Now Ordóñez, he's about 40 yards from goal, the centre-half. Angles the ball wide to the near side, and Saiss. Aston Villa with everybody in white back behind the ball. Ordóñez shoots from range, and it was speculative. And that's an easy bit of catching practice for Martinez.
I mean, it's a fully 20 yards out, and again, Martinez sees it all the way. And Ordóñez is a good strike, but you're not beating a goalkeeper of that quality from that range. But again, Watkins there, clearly with that chance on the edge of the box. I mean, it's such a clever skill to be able to shoot between the defender's leg, because it doesn't need to be even a clean strike. Because the goalkeeper's unsighted and he can't see it, even if it bobbles towards goal, the goalkeeper just simply can't get there.
That's the voice of former Aston Villa striker Darren Bent, and a lot of Villa representation tonight on Talksport. Andy Townsend will be alongside Jim Proudfoot later for Inter against Arsenal in the Champions League. Live on Talksport from 8 o'clock. Here is Rodgers for Aston Villa, out to the near side, and Maatsen, now Tielemans, just inside opposition territory. There's the boos for Tielemans again, but he won't be remotely bothered by that, given his experience. Mings left of the centre circle. Angle ball to the near side, and Maatsen. Club Brugge with a decent shape out of possession, and across came the on-rushing Jashari to win a tackle in front of John McGinn. Now Tielemans has to go back into his own half, where Diego Carlos is waiting. We're midway through the first half, and still waiting for the game's first goal. I'm still convinced that there was a slight touch of a defender after that Watkins effort. Here goes Kamara, breaking between the lines. He whips an early high ball into the penalty area. John McGinn with a header over the top. And he should do better. It's a brilliant ball by Kamara, defence splitting. And McGinn ran onto it away from Ordóñez. Free header 6 yards out. and he got right underneath it.
He's got to score. Simple as that. He's got to score. I mean, he's in an area there where he's got a choice. He can either head it, which is what he does, or he can let it drop onto his stronger left foot and volley it. I mean, he's about 6 yards out, and he goes with a complete wrong option. He gets it all wrong. I don't know if he thinks the goalkeeper's coming or the defender's going to get a touch in it, but it drops beautifully over the defender's head. And from that range, just outside the 6-yard box, he's got to hit the target. He's got to score from there. Simple as that.
And Tyrone Mings has been booked now for a foul, and Diego Carlos has got to be careful that he doesn't talk himself into a yellow card as well. He might just have done that. Unai Emery looks really frustrated on the near side of the field. Mings has definitely been booked, and Diego Carlos certainly looked like he was walking the tightrope as well. I'm just waiting for confirmation as to whether that is the case. The Club Brugge player is down right on the halfway line. I think it might be Jutgla who was caught by Tyrone Mings, and now John McGinn having a word with the referee. And Mings did go right through the back of Jutgla, and he was leaning with the arm, and Tobias Steeler was in a good place to see it. He couldn't miss it.
Nice to see Tyrone back.
Yeah.
Tyrone there getting tight. And do you know what? I know he's given the foul away and he's been booked, but I don't mind that, because that shows exactly where he's at. And he's not so much his rehab, but he's been out for such a long time. Some players come back and they're a little bit, maybe 75%, where they're a bit worried about, well, if we're going for that challenge, maybe the injury might reoccur, just psychologically. But you've seen there on one or two occasions him getting really tight, really going up against the centre forward. So as long as he doesn't do anything daft now and get himself sent off, I actually don't mind that.
That's how he plays, isn't it, Tyrone Mings? And without that aggression, he wouldn't be the same player. So he's picked up a yellow card. There's certainly a word at least for Diego Carlos. Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Young Boys 0 is the latest score. Elsewhere tonight in the early kickoffs in the Champions League, both teams are yet to win in the league phase, and confirmation that Diego Carlos has been yellow carded. So that is both centre-halves on a booking 26 minutes in. It's Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0 in the Champions League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. A free kick to Club Brugge, just shy of the halfway line. And Jutgla, the Spanish forward, once of Barcelona, is moving okay, and he's back on the field. Ordóñez with the angled pass to the near side, and Skov Olsen, about 15 yards into opposition territory, scored the winner in the league at the weekend as Nielsen crosses from the right. That deflects off Ian Maatsen, and it's a Club Brugge throw. There isn't much danger to Aston Villa defensively so far in the game, unless they suddenly lose concentration. That's how it feels at the moment, I think, Dan.
Yeah, they seem quite comfortably defensively, but there doesn't seem to be. I mean, we saw it earlier where they won the ball back quite high up, but there doesn't seem to be any real great urgency from either team to really go and press and hunt the ball back. They're almost allowing them to kind of get to halfway, and then once they almost step foot into the opposition half, then they try and win the ball back. But it's quite interesting from a defensive standpoint from both teams, because it's like they're going man for man in the middle of the park. Because whenever Yuri Tillemans or anyone's got the ball, it looks like Casper Nelson's the one who's assigned to follow him everywhere. And with Boubacar Kamara, it looks like Yashiri, he's the one who's closest to him and goes after him as well. So really fascinating defensively from both teams.
Ordóñez on the halfway line, wide to the near side, and Skov Olsen back in field to Ordóñez once more. Aston Villa playing from right to left in the first half, all in white. Just under 1,500 Aston Villa fans have made the trip to Belgium tonight. Zolis on halfway, back to Michele. No danger from Club Brugge in possession at the moment. European Cup runners-up on one occasion to Liverpool in 1978. Michele, halfway, chips the ball up the inside left channel. Diego Carlos easily there with an air of nonchalance and confidence in front of Jutgla. And then Ezri Konsa wins Aston Villa a throw in the right back position. You wouldn't call it a hostile atmosphere by any means. Sometimes you associate that sort of atmosphere with Champions League nights on the road for English clubs, but I don't think there's anything really hostile about the way the crowd are interacting with the game.
Not so much really, and there's not really been any decisions where it's got the crowd really on side, to be fair. It's been played in quite a placid way. Both teams are trying to do things the right way. There's been no bad challenges or anything, so I'm guessing this Club Brugge side needs to give the crowd something they can kind of hang on to. I don't know, maybe put a challenge in, score a goal, an attempt on goal, just something so the club can get behind it, because at the minute, if you're an Aston Villa player, you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm quite enjoying this.
And they don't necessarily need to win tonight. They'd love to, even with the 5 changes that they've made, it's still a very strong Aston Villa team. There's not that pressure, maybe, having won 3 from their first 3. Here come Club Brugge. Zolis with De Kuyper to his left on the overlap, far side of the field, just about level with the edge of the 18-yard area. Back to Zolis, who strikes it low and is blocked by the first man, Kamara. Hit his instep. Now back on the far side again is De Kuyper. Yellow boots on, infield to the captain, Van Aken. That has got the crowd livened up. Zolis to Yuka! Hits the post! And the ball bounces out to the far side of the field. Van Aken down by the corner flag, taking on Konsa. That is a warning for Aston Villa. Now Zolis into the penalty area. Good save, Martinez. Down low to his left-hand side. They were not quick enough to get to Zolis there. And twice in the space of a few seconds, Club Brugge was so nearly in front. Still 0-0.
But I better thank Martinez for that, Emilio Martinez, because he makes 2 unbelievable saves. I think the first one is better than the second.
Sliding into clear is Kamara on the near side of the field, and Aston Villa have possession again. Konsa in the right back area. So Jutla and then Zolis in very quick succession, going very close to putting Club Brugge into the lead. Right on the half-hour mark, it is still 0-0, but suddenly the game feels like it's opened up almost out of nothing.
That first save from Jutla is incredible, because he almost just tries to flash it across, makes a really intelligent run between Diego Carlos and Tyrone Mings, and he just swivels on it and hits it from about 8 yards out. And just as he swivels, I think Martinez is just there, that near post, and gets the hands on it and pushes it against the post. And then even the second one there, Martinez from the edge of the box, just reacts really, really well and getting down. And again, as soon as that second chance happened, you should have seen Unai Emery. He jumped up straight away and was screaming at his backline to switch on, because at the minute, certainly that last 5 minutes, they've not been switched on enough at all.
A little bit pedestrian all of a sudden for Aston Villa. Konsa to Bailey. Back to Konsa on the halfway line. Just that one real chance in the game for Villa so far for Ollie Watkins, and actually John McGinn with the looping header that he should have hit the target with, you feel, as well.
That's the best chance, John McGinn. I mean, Martinez makes 2 good saves then, but for John McGinn, he has to score that. He's 6 yards out, middle of the goal. He can either volley it or head it. He chooses to head it and just gets it completely wrong.
And Maatsen trying to drive in field from the near side of Villa left. He's gone back to Tielemans, now Kamara. Back to the halfway line where Diego Carlos will slow the game down. Villa in their change kit tonight. Steered it square to the captain, McGinn. McGinn held up by Jashari. And credit Club Brugge, quite a spirited display so far. First game against an English club since the 21-22 group stage. Here is Rodgers from range, and it's only just over the top. 25 yards out, he wants a corner, and that was soaring towards goal. Slight deflection, and it grazed the roof of the net and went over.
There, we're just looking at that replay. I mean, what a save for Martinez from Jutla. I mean, he just swivels and hits it, and if anything, he probably should go across goalkeeper. He doesn't. He goes to that near post, but still, take nothing away from Martinez. What a save that is.
Just a glancing touch, wasn't it, to turn it onto the post. And then Zolis saw his effort saved a few moments later. Corner to Aston Villa. Second of the game. Leon Bailey standing over it. Mings and Konsa among those forward. Bailey delivers left-footed, headed away by Jutla at the near post. And Aston Villa's goalkeeper, 3 clean sheets in 3 coming into tonight in the Champions League so far this season, proving his worth again. And remember that spectacular save that he made against Bayern Munich at Villa Park as well late on.
I remember an even bigger one than that World Cup final, Kolo Muani.
One of the great saves, maybe. Long throw into the penalty area by Konsa towards Watkins, who was on the dead ball line, tried to head it back towards Bailey, and it's smuggled behind by McKaylee at the expense of another Aston Villa corner. There's a little bit more life and vigour in the game now. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. 12 minutes of the first half remaining live on Talksport. Aston Villa under the floodlights in Belgium. Haven't tested Simon Mignolet just yet. Plenty of crowding the goalkeeper in the 6-yard box. Nobody on either post for Club Brugge. Bailey, one arm up into the air. Here comes the left-footed delivery. He's taking it short to McGinn. McGinn corner of the penalty area. Digs it in high left-footed. Watkins to the back post across goal. I thought he was shoved in the back. Club Brugge scramble it away. The referee not remotely interested in looking at that again. And VAR may well check it. McGinn will shepherd the ball back to Martinez, and Aston Villa have to begin with their goalkeeper.
It looked like a clear shove in the back for me. I'm not saying that he would score from there, Ollie Watkins, but there's clearly two hands in his back. I couldn't quite see who did it, but as he gets up, because he gets up really well, Watkins, he's obviously trying to guide it back into an area, and there's got a blatant two-handed shove in his back.
I mean, De Kuyper was the player right behind Watkins. Two of them were close by, and Nielsen has ended up going down. It looked like a blatant double-handed shove from De Kuyper. No sense at the moment as to whether VAR is checking it. And meanwhile, on our monitor in the commentary position, maybe Martinez's saves are being shown again and again. A plunging stop to his left to deny Zolis. That was, I guess, a more simple save, but still a very good one.
Yeah, reflexes were good there. Got down really, really well and poked it round, not even for a corner, but managed to just steer it out of danger from the strike from Zolis. But I do think those two chances maybe for Club Brugge have really woke Aston Villa up, because since then they've played with a little bit more urgency. They've got the ball in the box a little bit sooner, and maybe they needed that, because even Unai Emery jumped up straight away after those two chances and was barking orders on the pitch, almost telling them to wake up.
10 minutes to go in the first half. Aston Villa give the ball away. Now Jutla, midway inside opposition territory onto Zolis. The spare man out on the left is De Kuyper. He controls, he whips in a high cross, left-footed, and a free-header cleared off the line by Mings. And then the rebound is struck goalward by Jashari, and well handled by Martinez. It was Nielsen with the flicked header at the near post, and Tyrone Mings was there to get it off the line. And Aston Villa still have not conceded a goal in the Champions League this season. It's 0-0.
Yeah, good opportunity there from Kasper Nielsen, but I like what he does there. I mean, he's just on the edge of the 6-yard box. He doesn't try and go for goal because he knows there's no power on the cross. So what he tries to do is just help it into an area and hope someone's behind him, and he almost gets it right, but Tyrone Mings defends it really, really well. And again, Martinez being in the right place at the right time, because that shot comes back in. I think it's from Van Aken, and it's a great strike, and he manages to just get his body behind it and pick up the pieces. But again, Club Brugge is working the ball from left to right, from right to left really well, and getting an attempt at the end of it.
It's a firm effort by Jashari in the end that was well saved by Martinez. And for the third time in the game, Club Brugge might feel they could have been in front. 9 minutes of the first half remaining, normal time that is, plus added time on Talksport. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. We've got Inter against Arsenal in the Champions League coming for you later. And Villa's next game, away at Liverpool in the Premier League, 8 o'clock kick-off on Saturday evening. The only place you can hear that on national radio is right here on Talksport. Great time of the season as we build towards the winter and all of the matches in and around that period. Here come Club Brugge with Jutla. That's a strange ball cross field. He's hammered it straight out of play. Let's get a word from the former Villa striker, Gabby Agbonlahor. Gabby, what have you made of what you've seen so far?
I think it started off cagey, didn't it? I think Watkins had a great chance. He dragged wide. Then McGinn had the header where he could have maybe left it to come on for a volley, but I think we've got away with a couple. That clearance of Tyrone Mings, they're exploiting our high line, I feel, and making good runs in behind us.
A nervy watch tonight for Aston Villa fans. Thanks very much indeed, Gabby. Here is Leon Bailey winning the ball back for Aston Villa midway inside his own half, and then he gets the return ball from John McGinn. Bailey races down the right hand side. He's taking on McKaylee. Couple of step overs. He plays it square to McGinn again. 25 yards out. He turns and shoots, and it's well handled by Mignolet. Holds on to the ball inside his 6-yard box. Really open field to the game now, Darren Bent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Aston Villa working the ball well, quite quickly from back to front. But I mean, it's a simple thing, but John McGinn there, when he takes the ball from Leon Bailey, he goes the long way round. I think if he takes the ball and it just opens up, I think he gets more of a clean strike. But because he almost does a 360 pivot, he doesn't quite know what's behind him. So by the time he has a strike, I think as a defender, I think it's McKaylee, he's in his face. I think if he just opens up and then takes it out of his feet, he gets a cleaner strike.
It was a full-on spin, wasn't it, from McGinn? Here is Seiss on the near side of the field, the right back rattles the ball off the shins of the on-rushing Tyrone Mings. Club Brugge fans think they've got a corner on the near side of the field. It's only a throw. Unai Emery marching up and down in his technical area. A nervy end to the first half for Aston Villa. And here's an opportunity for Scott Olsen, and Zolis with a deflected effort that took all the sting out of it. Kamara came across. It was from close range, right-hand edge of the penalty area. And in the end, nothing on it as the ball spun up into the air and was gathered by Martinez. 39 gone, still Aston Villa 0-0 away at Bruges.
Fantastic defending there from Ian Maatsen, because I think Zolis is about to pull the trigger, and I mean he's about 7 yards out. He would have had a clean strike, but Ian Maatsen just gets a toe on the ball before he goes to strike for it. Zolis, and as he swings his foot, it pops up and hits him on the shin, and that's why he doesn't get a clean strike. But again, really good defending there from Ian Maatsen.
High ball downfield towards Watkins, who can't control on his chest, surrounded by blue and black shirts, and Club Brugge will go back to goalkeeper Mignolet, who hammers the ball downfield up into the dark night sky. The downward header by Konsa, and the loose ball retrieved by Nielsen. Will race into Villa territory, threads the ball out to the left-hand side. Jutla, the number 9, crossfield ball left to right, high through the air, only half away by Ian Maatsen. Skovolsen there to win it back for Club Brugge. Now Seiss, the square ball slows the momentum of the attack, and De Kuyper has to go back into the middle of midfield, and Jashari wide right to the near side. The number 7 Skovolsen gets beyond Tielemans, dinks in the cross, and it's easy for Martinez.
Gavin made a good point about Club Brugge trying to exploit Aston Villa's high line. I just wonder, because Ian Maatsen, Tyrone Mings, Diego Carlos, Ezri Konsa, it's not like they play week in, week out together all the time. So I think that's why Club Brugge are getting in so much, because there's times where Diego Carlos is dropping and Tyrone Mings is squeezing up, so there's a bit of they're a bit disjointed, so they're managing to kind of utilise that connection. Then Ezri Konsa will step up, the other two will drop. So particularly for Club Brugge, they're not really having to time their runs particularly well. It's just the fact that they're not in sync, Aston Villa's back line, so that's something they need to be careful of.
A big night in the Championship tonight. We'll keep you up to date, of course, with all the goals as they go in here. Live on Talksport. Millwall against Leeds at 7:45. And the leaders Sunderland away at Preston North End in a game that kicks off at 8 o'clock. 5 minutes of the first half remaining. A normal time, at least, in Belgium. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0 it remains. Inside the centre circle is Diego Carlos. He's played it square to the right-back position. And Konsa. Villa beaten it Crystal Palace in the League Cup, albeit having made 10 changes, and thumped in the second half away at Tottenham in the Premier League on Sunday. Nobody expected that. Back-to-back defeats. John McGinn back to the halfway line. And Maatsen, they have a very proud record in the Champions League so far this season. An unbeaten record coming into tonight. 3 wins from 3. Tielemans steers the ball left. Near side is Maatsen. Maatsen is about 30 yards from goal. He flicked the ball with the outside of his foot to Rodgers. Back into the penalty area towards Maatsen. Skovolsen only gets it half away. Maatsen's kept possession for Villa. Rodgers at no great pace, led with the edge of the 18-yard box. Tracked all the way by Seiss, and it's very congested for Aston Villa now. Everybody in blue and black. Those Club Brugge shirts back behind the ball. Defending the goal away to our left-hand side. There's a big Club Brugge banner behind that goal. Now Diego Carlos standing tall inside the centre circle. A square ball to Mings, making just his second appearance since his return from injury tonight.
Yeah, nice to see him back. I think he's done relatively well. He's got up against the centre forward. He's made it difficult for them. He's tried to play out from the back as well. It's obviously going to take him time to get back to the very best Tyrone Mings that we know. I mean, he's had some great performances for Aston Villa and for England, don't forget, but it's going to take him time. I mean, when you spend that amount of time out injured, it's probably going to take him double that to get back to the very, very best of him. So, but it's nice to see him back.
Pau Torres on the Villa bench tonight. I just wonder, with both centre-halves on a yellow card, how long Unai Emery will feel that he can keep both central defenders on the pitch. Diego Carlos in the centre circle, down the middle to Rodgers, about midway inside the Club Brugge half. He's tried to spin away from Seiss, who seems to be tracking his every move. 2.5 minutes of the first half to go on Talksport, and it's still 0-0. Maatsen's little dink in field, and the flick down the middle by Tielemans, and Ordonez left it for his goalkeeper. Mignolet eventually obliged. Mignolet's underarm throw, that put McKaylee under pressure, and McKaylee's done well. Glares back at his goalkeeper as he wins Club Brugge a throw in their left back position, and the defender just looking to the goalkeeper as if to say, I didn't really want that there.
A little bit of that overplan at the back as well. And I mean, you're 3 minutes from half time as well. You think, listen, let's get into half time 0-0. Maybe not take any risk, get the ball down, everyone squeezes up, we're playing their half. I think sometimes you're causing your own problems when you try and play out from the back every single time. I think you've got to mix it up a little bit.
And there is more pressure certainly on Club Brugge to get a result tonight. They start the evening 27th. Never thought I'd say that in the Champions League. 27th in the league phase. No more group stages, of course, this season. So that is in an elimination position as it stands. Of course, a long way still to go. We'll be halfway through the league phase campaign by the end of the night. Aston Villa have got to play Juventus, Leipzig, Monaco and Celtic.
So I still think there's points there for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Even if they leave here without getting beat and they only take a point, I still think, yes, Juventus will be a tough game. But RB Leipzig are having an appalling Champions League so far this season. Do you know what I mean? Monaco coming up as well, Celtic. There are still points on the table there to get promoted.
Very strange ball by Diego Carlos. He was trying to chip it downfield towards Watkins, and I've no idea what happened there. The ball just spun miles high off the edge of his right boot, and he ended up flinging it up into the front row of seats behind the goal, into the last minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. It's got much more entertaining as this first half has worn on, and actually Aston Villa may be a little lucky that they haven't conceded a goal, in part indebted to their goalkeeper Martinez. Now Bailey on the halfway line, little chip down the middle. Watkins retrieves possession with his back to goal, lays it backwards to Tielemans, lift the centre circle, he's angled the ball towards the right. Bailey slow on the uptake, intercepted by De Kuiper. Now Zolis, 10 yards shy of the halfway line, neat square ball to Nielsen. Skov Olsen in space, near side to right, he's got two to him in the middle, he's taking on Matson in a one-on-one. Skov Olsen back out wide to Nielsen, first time right-footed cross, headed away by Diego Carlos, up into the air, not very far, flicked further clear by Tielemans. We've had the 45 minutes into 2 added at the end of the first half. Tielemans for Villa, midway inside his own half the field, and nobody's in a great rush to help him break further up the pitch. Kamara steers the ball over halfway. Watkins beaten to it by McKaylee, away only as far as Bailey, who's allowed to travel up the middle momentarily. Then Club Brugge, very compact, they get everybody back behind the ball, and Villa are reduced to walking pace again.
Yeah, you're right, Club Brugge got back very quickly, but then Aston Villa turned down opportunities to go forward and almost started again. But I just feel Aston Villa need to find a way of maybe upping the tempo a little bit. I mean, some of the players who are playing out there look like they haven't had much game time, and there are others out there that look like they've played maybe a little bit too much. So I think when Unai Emery gets in, he'll probably look at his bench now and see where he can change, where he can get some kind of joy, because I think they're just lacking a little bit of energy in that final third, a little bit of eventfulness.
Watkins has been fouled by McKaylee just inside the centre circle. This is the first of back-to-back Champions League commentaries tonight on Talksport. We've got Inter against Arsenal coming up for you later on, and if you want the cricket, Talksport 2. England in Barbados facing the West Indies in that ODI. Talksport 2 for the cricket. And free kick to Villa, and it's dead centre, right on the very edge of the centre circle. Tielemans will take it. Long line of players, everybody from either team, stretching the length of the edge of the penalty area. Boos and whistles from the home supporters. 0-0 the score.
I always hate free kick from there because it's too straight. It's just outside the centre circle. It's dead straight. You can't really create an angle for a cross, or it's too far out for a shot.
He's clipped the ball towards Tyrone Mings in and around the penalty spot, and Mings nearly got his head to it. Club Brugge want an offside flag. They don't get it. Watkins left edge of the penalty area, plays it back to Matson to dink it in high, headed away. And now Jutla will try to drive forward on the counter-attack. Tielemans comes across to snuff out that opportunity, and the referee had a quick look at his watch. I don't think he's yet blown the half-time whistle. There's still appeals going on from the Club Brugge supporters. Not yet got a signal as to why he's stopped the game, and in the end he does blow for half-time. And 0-0 the score, but Aston Villa may be a little fortunate to have preserved their record of not conceding in this year's Champions League. Emi Martinez has made 2 excellent saves. First to tip Jutla's effort onto the post, and then moments later he denied the former Norwich man Christos Zolis. Kasper Nielsen has had a header cleared off the line by Tyrone Mings. At the other end, Villa have had chances. Ollie Watkins curling a low effort just wide, and their best opportunity fell to John McGinn, edge of the 6-yard box, but he couldn't keep his header down. At the break on Talksport, Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0.
Yep, goalless at half-time. I'm Adrian Durham, by the way, live at Deepdale, where Preston take on Sunderland at 8 o'clock tonight. One of a bunch of championship games that we've got on Talksport this evening. Got them covered during this commentary and the next one, Inter Milan against Arsenal, coming up. But let's talk about this goalless draw so far in Belgium. Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Darren Bent, there was a great chance halfway through the half when McGinn's header went miles over the bar. You said he took the wrong option. What would Darren Bent have done in that position?
Probably the same thing and missed it. But but no, do you know what? I just think I think he worried about maybe someone was behind him or the goalkeeper was coming, because he had more time than he thought. I mean, he headed it in the end, but I thought we could have let it drop on his strong left foot, hard side foot. I mean, he's, 6 yards out, maybe closer. Just from that range, he's got more quality than that. He's so much better than that. So, yes, he opted to head it, but I probably would have gone for the volley from that type of distance.
Yeah, Gabby Agbonlahor is with us as well. You'd have put it away, wouldn't you, Gab?
I would have done exactly what Benty says. It's all good when you're looking from up here. You think, you know what, let it onto your left foot and volley it in. But when you're on the pitch, you're just thinking, you know what, I could head that in. And you don't realise that maybe you've got more time than you have. But I just think the Watkins chance as well. You look at Mignolet's positioning. Anywhere in that half of the goal, he scores. You know, so Aston Villa have had chances, but this defensive line is scaring me today because they're getting through too easy, Brugge.
I was going to say, Gabby, that has been a problem too. Both sides have had chances. So what can Villa tweak, Gabby, to make sure that they close Bruges down and stop them getting so many chances?
I think where I'm sitting, Adrian, at the stadium, I'm right in front of the Villa's back line, and every single one of them is onside. And after they have this shot, after getting through, they're all having a go at the linesman saying offside, but it's on. Because there's not enough pressure on the ball, they're making their runs, timing their runs perfectly, the Bruges midfielders and forwards, and getting through too easily. And when they are getting through, they're getting shots off too easily. Kamara, can you press? These players can score from the edge of the box. They're very good players. If not for Martinez, we'd definitely be a goal down. Mings won that as well. He cleared off the line. That could have easily been a goal. I think I will take 0-0 going into half-time because we should be behind.
Do you know what, Aid? Do you know what? With that defensive line, I just wonder, because Tyrone Mings has obviously just come back. He's not played with Carlos that much.
Yeah.
Ian Matson at left back. You've got the right back in Ezri Konsa. They haven't spent much time playing together, so there's no connection there. There's no rapport. So when one of them drops, the other one doesn't, and I think maybe that's why they're not quite sure as a unit whether to kind of stick or to squeeze up, and that's why they've been caught so often.
I think the other thing, Darren, is that both centre-halves, Carlos and Mings, booked after 25 minutes. Now, Tyrone Mings went in really hard, and I thought a yellow was a little bit harsh, actually, because I thought he got the ball, he won the ball, but it was a firm physical challenge. I can see why he got booked. Diego Carlos getting booked on Tyrone Mings' behalf, protesting it, was utterly ridiculous. So both centre-halves, yellows, after 25 minutes, that's got danger written all over it.
Do you know what it has? And I do wonder now if maybe we will see Pau Torres come on for one of them, because, I mean, you run the risk, and again, they're both experienced internationals. It's, can you risk getting another 45 with both your centre-halves? Because if you're Club Brugge, the manager's going to be in the dressing room saying, listen, to Jutla, back into Tyrone Mings, back into Diego Carlos, because you never know what you can get. All it takes is one rash challenge, you know what I mean, one missed time challenge, and one of them's off. So I think we'll see Pau Torres. But as you said there, Ray, I mean, from Diego Carlos' perspective, just leave it. I mean, what are you getting involved for? Because you can't gain anything from that anyway.
And Gabby, just a quick one. It is 0-0. It's not the end of the world if Aston Villa get a 0-0 draw. It's not the end of the world if they lose the game. But are you confident that they can get back in it?
Do you know what's frustrating me? And then Ben, you'll see this as well as forwards. I'm watching the formation. Like John McGinn's playing as a sort of number 10, highest midfielder out of Kamara and Tielemans. But Rodgers is playing on the left. He's not played there all season, and he's drifting inside too much. So we've got no width on that left-hand side. And even Bailey, when he gets it, he's coming inside. No one's taking the player on the outside, and that's showing how frustrating it is for the Aston Villa players to get through. Because Brugge are getting their two defensive midfielders back, everyone behind the ball. If you're not playing quick football, you're never going to get through. Aston Villa's only chances have come from winning the ball back high up, mistakes from the opposition and getting the ball back. That's the only way we've got chances.
This is proper analysis. Gabby Agbonlahor, Darren Bent highlighting issues for Aston Villa at the back and in an attacking sense as well. And this is where Unai Emery earns his money at half-time, putting those wrongs right so that Villa can get yet another win and keep yet another Champions League clean sheet. Half-time then, Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Live on Talksport tonight, Inter Milan against Arsenal at 8. That's live commentary of that one after the Villa game is done.
The Big Wix event is now on. They've got everything you need to turn your ideas into a reality. From tiles to flooring, doors, kitchens, bathrooms, and more. They have everything you need to start your next home improvement project. So whether you want to give your home a little touch-up or a full-scale makeover, shop the Big Wix event. In-store and online now. Click to find out more.
The Volkswagen Drive Electric sale is here, featuring the ID3, ID4 and ID5. That's the sound of drivers powering up and enjoying our supercharged offers, all with an extra £1,000 off, plus a free Omi home charger with standard installation. Experience the electrified world of Volkswagen. Sale must end in 2 weeks for delivery by end of year. UK 18 plus retail customers only. T's and C's apply. £1,000 including VAT saving to on-the-road stock vehicles price. Subject to eligibility.
Skiing isn't just a holiday.
It's a feeling you can't forget.
It's scenery that makes you say wow
before your first run of the day.
It's the clinking of Afri drinks.
And trying something totally new.
Paragliding, anyone?
We get it.
We know the feeling.
Get that feeling with Crystal Ski Holidays.
Choose from over 120 resorts and get everything sorted in one easy package. Find out more at crystalski.co.uk. ABTA and ATOL protected.
The Good, the Bad and the Rugby Unleashed by me, Alex Payne, James Haskell and Mike Tyndall is out now. Why should people buy this book?
Because it's unbelievable. It's going to tell the story, the truth, the fun. We might get sued. It's going to ruffle a few feathers. What more do you want?
It gets 4 to 5 hours burn time on an open
No,
filler.
I'd say...
And that'll keep you warm at Christmas.
If you're not laughing within 10 pages, somebody might give you money back.
Well, steady on that. Let's not go too far.
Okay, well, we probably won't.
The Good, the Bad and the Rugby Unleashed is available in hardback, ebook and audiobook. All will be unleashed.
HVAC by My Dear. Installers, claim your MyPoint rewards in time for Christmas. Plus £1,000 bonus points for qualifying customers. My Dear, there is no substitute.
In Lancashire, the M6 remained closed both ways. That's after a collision between junction 33 for the A6 and 32 for the M55. In Hampshire, the M27 is partly blocked westbound after a collision between junction 9 for Fareham and junction 8 for Hamble. And in West Yorkshire, the M1 southbound is partly blocked after a collision between junction 40 for Ossett and junction 39 for Wakefield. I'm Adam Moore.
Passion, heartbreak, glory, despair, triumph. And they're back in the game! The Champions League live.
What a finish!
On Talksport.
You listen to Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever the mission, home or away. Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Half-time in our live commentary in the Champions League. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. What's the latest in the thirds? ODI, West Indies against England. Sam Ellard.
England batting first into the 9th over. England in all sorts of trouble at 19 for 3, scoring at just over 2 runs and over, and already 3 down. A really tough start for England. West Indies won the toss, chose to bowl, and they've been brilliant with the new ball. Jack's first to go for 5 for the bowler. Jack trying to drive a wide ball through the covers, took the outside edge through to the keeper. Then Cox's tough series continued. Azari Joseph with a quicker short ball that caught Cox by surprise, couldn't drop his hands quick enough, the ball taking the glove through to the keeper. And third to go, Jacob Bethel for a duck. Shepherd with a not the best of balls, short and wide. Bethel onto the cut shot. He picked out Chase at point, who pulled off an incredible catch, taking the ball way above his head. So the crease the moment for England is the opener Phil Salt, not out from 10, and the captain Liam Livingstone, who's unbeaten on 2. Last time out, Liam Livingstone with an unbeaten 100 for England. England need a strong fourth wicket partnership to try and get themselves back into this game. 9 overs gone, England struggling at 19 for 3.
Well, Man United face PAOK in the Europa League tomorrow evening live on Talksport, and while United are yet to win in Europe this season, their incoming manager, Ruben Amorim, masterminded that 4-1 victory over City in his final home game as Sporting boss last night. We brought it to you on Talksport. Red Devils keeper Andre Onana has just been speaking to the media ahead of that match against the Greek champions and says his teammates are capable of playing Amorim's high-intensity football after watching Sporting last night.
I did watch a game yesterday. Great victory from there, by the way. Different system, but my players, my teammates we are all pragmatic now. I think everyone here is capable to play in each system, so I don't think this will be any issue for us. We have big players, so they will step up.
Is he sure about that? Is he absolutely sure? Is the evidence there that is the case? That Andre Onana is right there. We shall see. We definitely shall see when Ruben Amorim arrives, and he has to work with the players that he has got at Manchester United. As I say, there's more Champions League action after the Villa game is done. We're due to bring in the second half of that shortly. It's 0-0. Inter Milan Arsenal live commentary after that. Andy Townsend will be on duty for it, and we've seen that Arsenal have Martin Odegaard back in training. We're waiting for the team news tonight, but that in itself in back training is a boost for them.
It certainly is, Aid. Yes, I've just seen images of the Arsenal boys getting off the bus, and I saw Martin Odegaard, so that is welcome positive news right now, because these are testing times right now, just at the moment for Mikel Arteta's boys. So to have an influence like Martin Odegaard fit and available would be timely indeed.
Yeah, it would, and I actually think, tell me if I'm wrong here, and how players work. Arsenal, the players, the squad, the whole club might have got a bit of a boost from seeing City annihilated like that last night.
Well, look, I think what it will have done, more than anything, I mean, look, whether or not it gives them a boost, but what it will have done would have been a reminder that at this level, if you're not 100% right, if you're not there, if you don't start well, if you don't compete, if you don't get your basics right, you get beat in Champions League football. That's what happens. And Sporting clearly were very up for that game last night. City not at their best, and a resounding defeat for them. The same will happen to Arsenal tonight against an Inter team that are well organised, very hard working. They're on a good run at the moment. I think 8 unbeaten. They're looking to add to the 7 points they've got. They're in a handy position. This is the sort of game against a slightly fragile Arsenal that they will fancy that they can win. So Arsenal need to come out the blocks well, be organised, and look to hit hard when they can.
And I think we can bring you team news. Commentator alongside Andy Townsend, Jim Proudfoot. What you got, Jim?
Now, Adrian, very good evening to you. We're talking about Martin Odegaard. He has travelled, but he isn't in the starting lineup, and that was widely expected, that he wouldn't be rushed straight back in by Mikel Arteta. There is, in fact, just the one change to the side that lost at Newcastle in terms of personnel. Now, that's Declan Rice's absence. He's out with a foot injury and hasn't travelled. Ben White comes back in to replace him, and that's a move that we expect to see Thomas Partey move into midfield from right back. So it'll be Raya in goal, White at right back, Timber at left back, Saliba alongside Gabriel, and then the 3 in midfield will be Marino, Partey and Trossard, with Saka, Havertz, who's one short of 100 career goals, and Martinelli as the front 3. The Arsenal bench, Neto and Setford the keepers. Odegaard is there, Jesus, Kivior, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Sterling, Butler, Oyadeji, Lewis Skelly, Waneri and Robinson. Inter, for their part, make 5 changes to the side that beat Venezia. They've got a big game coming up against Napoli at the weekend. Recalls for Fratesi, Çalhanoğlu, Bisek, Darmian and Taremi, with DiMarco, Bastoni, Barella, Thuram and Mkhitaryan, the former Arsenal man, all out of the 11 this evening.
Jim, thanks very much. I'll let Jim and Andy digest that team news, because teams are back out for the second half in Belgium. It's live on Talksport. Bruges 0, Aston Villa 0. Here's former Villa striker Darren Bent alongside Joe Shannon.
And Aston Villa still yet to concede in the Champions League so far this season, even despite the 5 changes made by Unai Emery coming into tonight, and no alterations at half-time. So it's as you were as Aston Villa get the second half underway. Playing from left to right, all in white beneath the lights in Belgium this evening. And Club Brugge in their traditional colours of blue and black striped shirts, blue shorts and blue socks, playing from right to left. Aston Villa have Martinez in goal, Konsa, Carlos, Mings and Maatsen, Kamara and Tielemans, McGinn, Rodgers and Bailey in support of Watkins up front. It's just the second time, by the way, that Diego Carlos and Tyrone Mings have started a game together. The last time that happened was in August of 2022, would you believe it?
Well, it showed that first half. I mean, not saying they defended poorly, because they didn't, but you could just quite clearly see they're not on the same wavelength at the minute. I mean, Club Brugge were getting in behind the 2 centre-backs far too easy, and I just think that's a little bit of, do you know what I mean? It's a little bit of cat and mouse, but also as well, one drops, one stays high. I mean, that only comes with rapport and timing and playing together enough.
The ball forward by Konsa over the top is a poor one, and it's gathered by the Club Brugge goalkeeper Simon Mignolet. Saiss, Ordóñez, Michele and De Kuyper are the back four. Nielsen, Van Aken and Jashari in midfield. Skov Olsen, Zolis and Jutla are the front three for Club Brugge. Jutla can't win the ball back on the halfway line, but it doesn't matter because Nielsen's been fouled. Big night in the Championship. Let's get team news at the Den. Millwall leads with Flo Pollock.
Evening. Millwall make 3 changes. One is forced. Byron suspended is replaced by McNamara at fullback. Wintle and Watmore also come in for Aziz and Denore. A single change for Leeds, who are unbeaten in the last 8. Bogle returns from suspension and comes in for Byram.
Millwall just 2 points off the Championship playoffs as Club Brugge keep possession now with Jashari. Cross to Ordóñez out on the far side, the right, and now Saiss in the right full-back position. The Aston Villa bench does include John Duran, Buendia, Bogard, Digne, Gauci, Swinkles, Ramsey, Philogene, Onana, Torres, Olsen and Nedjelkovic. Very quiet start to the second half here. Live on Talksport. Club Brugge 0, Aston Villa 0. Here come the home team out on the right. John McGinn gets a good tackle in on Skov Olsen. Ollie Watkins on halfway holds up possession for Villa, steers the ball infield to Rogers, appeals for handball from some of the home fans. Referee lets play continue. Zolis now darting forward inside left channel. Jutla to his immediate left, corner of the penalty area, dinks in the cross, and it's gathered by Martinez. Let's get you more Championship team news. We'll go to Ewood Park now on Talksport and Natalie Pike.
Changes in the team beaten by Sheffield United. Britton, Pickering and Vyman all start, which are straight swaps for Beck, who misses out through injury, and Dolan and Rankin Costello drop out. For Stoke, Pellet, looking for back-to-back wins, makes just one change. Lewis Kumas, on loan from Liverpool, starts with Seko, who's likely being rested, on the bench. Here's Blackburn versus Stoke.
And team news at the CBS Arena with Jeff Peters.
Well, Tatsu Sakamoto returns for Coventry, who are aiming for a third straight win. Victor Torp makes way. 5 changes for Derby, who are yet to win away. First league starts this season for Thompson and Brown. Elder, Houtmine and Phillips all return.
Big night over on Talksport 2. There's a wicket in the cricket. Sam Ellard.
They find themselves now in real trouble into the 11th over. England 25 for 4. The captain Liam Livingstone. The fourth to go for 6. A wider ball from Shepherd. Livingstone looked to put through the covers on the back foot. Took the outside edge. Hope catches. Curran assault with the crease now. England with a lot of work to do at 25 for 4.
And commentary continues, as I say, over on Talksport 2. Just download our app, free and easy to download, and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Aston Villa give away a free kick just inside opposition territory. Former Villa striker Darren Bent. It's been quite a cagey, scrappy start to the second half, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, it has been, neither side have really settled in the second half, got the ball down and tried to pass it. Club Brugge, a couple of times they've made some really intelligent runs in behind this Aston Villa backline, and the run hasn't been spotted. They haven't played the pass, but it's incredibly high. Gabby said it earlier, he said he's scared of how high Aston Villa are, and there's another one there.
Skov Olsen trying to reach a high ball downfield. Maatsen got something on it to turn it away. Skov Olsen on the far side, the right. Maatsen is backing off this time. Lays it back to Saiss, and now an opportunity for Van Aken, the captain. Big midfield player to steer it wide to Skov Olsen again in his opposite number. John McGinn gets across for Aston Villa to steer it behind and away for a goal kick, 0-0.
I was looking forward to seeing Skov Olsen today. Listen, he's their top goal scorer, 5 goals this season. Incredible last year, 26 goals in all comps. I was really looking forward to his quality and seeing what he could do.
Well, the referee has stopped the game here, and I think that Club Brugge, do they feel that there was a back pass? Here comes the referee, Tobias Steeler, marching towards the penalty area, and there's a real sense of confusion here as Martinez looks up, doesn't know exactly what's happened, and John McGinn's having words with the referee. Martinez had rolled the ball down to take a goal kick. He laid it square to Tyrone Mings, who then picks up the ball inside the penalty area. I think he's given a penalty here, the referee. In extraordinary circumstances, Martinez had laid the ball square to Tyrone Mings, and I think he wanted to place the ball down again, the Aston Villa defender, so he picked it up. The referee has said that the ball was in play, and therefore Mings should be penalised. And he has given a penalty kick. This is unbelievable.
Do you know what? It is unbelievable. But the only thing I'd say about that is that if Martinez wants to roll the ball to Tyrone Mings, he rolls it to him in the 6-yard box. The fact that he rolls it to Tyrone outside of that 6-yard box tells me that he wants to play out. And I think Tyrone's gone, oh no, we could get pressed here and pick the ball up. So although it's really, really harsh, I can see where the referee's coming from. Because if you look at Martinez, instead of rolling it to Tyrone Mings, he plays it in front of him as if to say, well, go on then, go on and play.
One of the strangest incidences of handball you will ever see. You remember a similar incident for Arsenal against Bayern in the Champions League last season. Arsenal got away with it, and Van Aken has drilled the penalty down the middle. Villa don't get away with it, and they concede for the first time in the Champions League this season in absolutely bizarre circumstances. Handball by Tyrone Mings, Van Aken with the penalty, straight down the middle, and it's Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0, and Unai Emery is furious.
I mean, it's a great penalty because, I mean, Van Aken, he waits for Martinez to go one way and then just rolls it down the middle. And I think when you've got a goalkeeper with the reputation that he's got when it comes to saving penalties, I think that's the right call. It's a really good penalty, as I said, because Hans Van Aken, he waits for the goalkeeper to go down. But I think you can always tell about a decision by a player's reaction. And after the ball goes to the net, if you look at Martinez, most goalkeepers in that scenario, if they know that they've not got away with it, they're almost just like, do you know what, they're screaming at the ref again, this is a disgrace. Martinez almost just stands against the post and just almost looks up at the sky as if to say, we didn't get away with that one. So I think the referee might have got this one right.
Mings was trying to spot the ball again so Martinez could retake the goal kick, but the referee deemed that play had already been restarted. He gave a penalty and Aston Villa trailed by a goal to nil. Gabriel Bonlahor, what did you make of it from your vantage point?
I think it's very harsh. Listen, maybe in the rules book it is a penalty, but I think it's very harsh to give. You know, Martinez passing the ball to Mings and Mings is giving it back. We've seen that happen week in, week out. I think there was a German game, Division 1, Division 2 a German game where a referee gave 2 penalties, similar incident. But it's very harsh, but maybe that sets a statement now for every team, because every team likes to do that from the back. Once the keeper plays it, you can't pick it up. So very harsh, but maybe that's the wake-up call Aston Villa have needed this game.
That's former Villa striker Gabriel Bonlahor. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. We did see an almost identical incident in the Champions League last season. Arsenal against Bayern Munich. I think it was either Gabriel or Saliba, and the referee decided not to award a penalty for Gabriel essentially picking the ball up after play had restarted. And you might remember that Thomas Tuchel was absolutely furious about that.
Well, do you know what as well? And I thought Arsenal got away with it then. But I just think sometimes when you look at Tyrone Mings and certainly Martinez passing him the ball, he doesn't pass it to him as if to say, right, you spot the ball and play from there. He rolls it in front of Tyrone Mings, which tells me he wants Tyrone Mings to step on that front foot and then go and play. I mean, it is incredibly harsh, and I agree with Gabby in that sense, but I think maybe potentially it was the right decision.
So Aston Villa behind in the Champions League for the first time this season. 10 minutes into the second half, live on Talksport, Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Big night in the Championship. We'll get team news at Luton and Preston North End very shortly. England 35 for 4 in the third ODI against the West Indies in Barbados. Unai Emery having words with the referee. The cricket, by the way, is live tonight over on Talksport 2. They're going to send on John Duran in just a moment. And on our monitor in the commentary position, we're seeing replay after replay of the penalty incident again. Clearly Mings thinks, I'm just going to re-spot the ball, give it back to the goalkeeper, we'll take the goal kick properly. But the referee deems that Martinez, having played the ball to Tyrone Mings, had restarted play, so he had to give a penalty kick.
Well, Martinez's reaction to me tells me that he thought that he was playing up from the back with Tyrone Mings.
Yeah.
I think Tyrone Mings is looking and thinking, right, if I do control this ball, I'm going to be put under pressure, so let me just pick it up and we'll start again. And if you get away with it, it's good play. If you don't, you get punished. And unfortunately, in this scenario, Villa have been.
And De Kuiper crosses for Bruce to the back post, and it's turned over the top by Ian Maatsen. And Aston Villa are under real pressure now. They could well be heading for defeat in the Champions League for the first time this season. Unai Emery, I think, has seen enough. I think he is going to get John Duran onto the field in just a moment. Elsewhere in the Champions League, the early kickoffs, Shakhtar 2, Young Boys 1 is the latest score. Inter against Arsenal is our live commentary on Talksport from 8. You're going to want to have your say on that Mings penalty incident, Villa fans, later on the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 03717 223344. A stranger handball incident you're unlikely to see Corner to Club Brugge. They lead 1-0. In towards the edge of the box, and the header down by Nielsen. And Martinez makes a relatively simple save. It was a camera save away to his right-hand side. Easily able to hold on to the ball. How do Aston Villa work themselves back into the game now, Darren Bell?
Well, they've got to up the tempo. I think they were playing in second gear pretty much most of the game. They've not really hurt Club Brugge too much. They've not really got the ball in behind. I think the two wide players in, certainly in John McGinn and Leon Bailey. I know Morgan Rogers has had to come out here at times and play, and they've not done enough. They've not really tried to commit the fullbacks. They've not really made them defend. It's been all passive. It's been in front of Club Brugge. They did start running behind and really trying to create that space.
And Tielemans has got it on the halfway line. Steers the ball forward 10 yards or so. Rogers turns away neatly from the defender. Rogers races forward. He's 25 yards out. He's found Ollie Watkins. Lovely control. Tight area cleared away by the defender. He had Michele and De Caliper right around him. Did Ollie Watkins, and the ball was smuggled away. Aston Villa win a free kick just in front of the away dugout. They trail in Bruges by 1-0. Let's get team news in the Championship at Kenilworth Road with Ian Abrahams.
2 changes for Luton. Victor Moses and Adebayo both drop out. Alfie Doughty returns after a ban, and Jacob Brown up front. 2 changes for Cardiff. Perry and G for Rinamoto drops to the bench, as does Willock. Callum Robinson replaces him. It's Luton and Cardiff. We start at 8.
Thanks, Ian. Cardiff having quite the revival in the Championship of late. Luton in the bottom 3. John McGinn leaves the field. The Aston Villa captain is substituted. Been a frustrating night for John McGinn, and here comes John Duran. 5 times he scored off the bench this season. Of course, that famous winner in Villa's second game of the Champions League campaign at home to Bayern Munich. They trail with just under an hour gone to a penalty conceded in almost absurd circumstances, and Villa's proud record of clean sheets is gone in this competition, but they won't mind if they can still dig a result out here, and dig a result out they're going to have to do. From left to right in the second half, towards the south end of the stadium, close to where the 1,500 travelling fans are. Tielemans with a dreadful free kick, cleared away easily by De Kuyper on the edge of the area. Back to Tielemans to hoist it in high. Mings climbs highest, and it's come back to Tyrone Mings inside the penalty area, smuggled away on the stretch by Ordóñez. Now Kamara, midway inside Club Brugge territory. Just under an hour played live on Talksport. Kamara is caught. It'll be a free kick to Aston Villa. Better from the away side.
Yeah, it's almost like sparked him into life, that goal. They now start to play in Club Brugge's half, causing them problems, committing 1 or 2 challenges now, and they're making Club Brugge think defensively, because for certain large parts of this game it's been too easy for Club Brugge. It's been predictable, it's been slow, it's been in straight lines, there's been no pattern to play. All of a sudden they've upped it. They've got a couple of free kicks now. I wouldn't say in good areas, but certainly areas where they can load the box, and now Tielemans' delivery has got to be better than that last one.
Villa trail. Tielemans and now Bailey standing over the free kick. And Bailey may be the better option here with a left-footed in-swinging delivery from what is a right-wing position. Bailey does deliver. It's even worse than the free kick of Tielemans. Thundered away high up into the dark night sky by the first man, Scott Olsen. And then a flying back header from Tielemans all the way through into the gloves of his goalkeeper. Big night in the Championship, as we've been mentioning. The leaders Sunderland away at Preston. Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Yes, Preston are unchanged for tonight's game, Joe, and Sunderland make 3 changes. Mundell, Roberts and Bellingham, who got that red card last game out, they all miss out. Connolly comes in, Watson and Chris Rigg. 8 o'clock kickoff. It's Preston against Sunderland.
Thank you, Mickey. We'll keep you up to date with all of the goals as they go in around the grounds in the Championship in our commentary of Inter against Arsenal. Here's De Kuyper, inside left channel for Club Brugge, and they really do play with a great energy now that they lead by 1-0. Van Aken, the captain who scored the penalty, has found Zolis. He's 10 yards to the edge of the area. He jinks away from a rather slow Kamara. Kamara off the pace tonight. Turning on the edge of the D is Jutla. Sea of white Aston Villa shirts around it. Villa can't win it back. Out on the far side is Scott Olsen. Deflected left-footed cross. Headed away by Kamara towards Watkins. Watkins and Duran. Now on the field for Aston Villa, but they can't get the ball at the moment.
Now Watkins, I thought he was fouled a little bit, to be fair, but the referee allowed play to continue. I thought Michele was all over him there, but he's got to hold the ball up. Him and Duran, they're going to be vital. They're going to have to play together. They're going to have to draw fouls in and certainly get Villa up the pitch, because when you play with 2 strikers in the middle of the park now, they're going to be overrun because of that 4-2-3-1 that Club Brugge plan. That allows 3 of them to be in there. 4-4-2 effectively. It's Kamara and Tielemans. They're going to be overrunning there. It's imperative that the two centre forwards in John Duran and Ollie Watkins hold the ball and bring the team up the pitch.
A real jeopardy in this game with less than half an hour of normal time to go. Big night tomorrow night on the Talksport network for you as well. Galatasaray against Tottenham in the Europa League on Talksport 2 at 5:45. Here on Talksport at 8 o'clock, Manchester United against PAOK, as we edge closer to the official arrival of Ruben Amorim. And then at the same time tomorrow night on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, this Championship football big game towards the top of the table as West Brom take on Burnley. Burnley beaten late on at the weekend in our Talksport 2 commentary at Millwall. Here is Konsa for Aston Villa. Mud on the back of his white shirt. He's right in front of the dugout. Unai Emery sitting down at the moment because Diego Carlos plays it back to Emi Martinez, and Villa are really going to have to scrap and fight for a result in these difficult conditions.
I've got no doubts that Aston Villa will get another chance from somewhere. We've got too many good players on the pitch not to create something. I mean, Tielemans' range of passing is fantastic. Morgan Rogers, who's been one of the standout players of the season, is comfortable in possession, can make things happen. You've got two centre forwards there. Both of them can score goals on a regular basis in Ollie Watkins and John Duran. So I've got no doubts that they'll get a chance from somewhere.
Tielemans on the halfway line, deflected ball high up the middle, and retreating to head it away is the Swiss midfielder Jashari. Now the right fullback Seiss, infield to the middle of midfield, and Van Aken waits. Van Aken, peerless on the ball, finds Jashari with ease despite the pressure of John Duran. Ordonez rolls it back to his goalkeeper. Club Brugge looking to play the ball out of the defensive third, and they win a throw in the left back position to Kuiper will take. Crowd are right on top of you in these surroundings at the Jan Bredel Stadium. It's quite old-fashioned, and now they're suddenly generating plenty of noise. Aston Villa at the moment heading for a third straight defeat, and of course they're away at Liverpool in the Premier League at the weekend, live on Talksport Saturday at 8 o'clock. Club Brugge lead by 1-0. Here now is Jashari, reverse ball dinked over the top, Jutla, he's brought it down, the flag has stayed down, now he's played it back to Skov to shoot low, deflected behind, it was almost suspended in time, that high ball over the top for a moment. I don't think even Jutla thought he'd timed his run, but he did. Konsa was playing him onside, and it's a corner.
If they could have taken a picture there, you'd have seen all four defenders, Tyrone Mings, Carlos, Konsa, Matson, all putting their hands up, but they're all on different lines, they're all on different stages, and that's why they're getting in so easy from behind. There's no, as I said, coordination in terms of dropping off or all squeezing up together.
And sloppy from Villa. Jashari will take the corner. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger into the 6-yard box. Martinez clutches it out of the air, had to stretch and ended up falling to ground, but the goalkeeper does well. Best player tonight for Aston Villa, Martinez, as Bailey scampers over the halfway line near side the right. And Bailey plays the ball backwards to Tielemans now, midway into opposition territory. Matson had got forward early, out on the left-hand channel. He was calling for an early ball from Bailey, who maybe didn't see him, Darren.
Now it's a good run from Matson there as well, and he tried to do what Club Brugge have been doing to them, because they're almost stand really high, really wide, and every single time someone gets the ball they switch it and try and create that 2v1 overload in the wide areas.
As Konsa's cross deflects up towards Watkins, he can't get his foot to it, well marshalled by Ordonez, and Simon Mignolet able to collect possession. The Bruges goalkeeper, Club Brugge goalkeeper, has not had a save to make so far tonight. They did go close twice in the first half, did Villa. Ollie Watkins just wide, and John McGinn should have hit the target with a header from close range, but Mignolet has remained untroubled.
I don't understand when Club Brugge try and play out from the back, and yes, they've been very good at it, why Villa don't go full court press and just all of you go forward and try and put them under pressure, but they're allowing them to kind of play out, and that's what's causing them so many problems, because then once they've allowed them to get out, they have to sprint back 60 yards.
Early ball down the middle towards Solis. Excellent goalkeeping by Martinez. Got a very good starting position. The flag was up against Solis anyway. England 45 for 4 against the West Indies in Barbados in that crucial third ODI. There's live commentary right now over on Talksport 2. And just download our app and you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Villa making a double change. Here come Pau Torres and Jacob Ramsey. Needs must at this stage for Aston Villa on what has been a very frustrating night for them so far, and a messy second half, I think. Although that said, they could easily have been a goal down at half-time at least. Rogers and Mings go off, and Tyrone Mings, you have to say, especially if the scoreline stays this way, will not remember his Champions League debut with much fondness after that penalty incident.
No, they won't. And as I said, I think Tyrone Mings has tried to be a little bit clever there, and I think Emi Martinez, as I've said many a time, I just think his reaction tells you all you need to know, that he genuinely tried to play out because he thought that's what they were trying to do. And then Tyrone Mings has looked up and thought, oh my goodness, I could give the ball away, I'm getting pressed, and just picked it up.
Well, quite often, as we know, Darren, you see defenders, centre-halves, standing on the corner of the 6-yard box. They take the goal kick itself, play it right back to the goalkeeper, who then either looks long or tries something else. But there was no disguising it from Mings' perspective there. It was an error, and it led to the penalty scored by Van Aken, the only goal of the game so far, as we head towards the final quarter. Live on Talksport and Aston Villa trail. Over the top goes Kamara, headed away, backpedaling by McKaylee. Duran can't reach the loose ball. Aston Villa have scored 6 in the Champions League so far this season. They need something here to bring themselves level. Bailey, middle of the park, hit the ball through the middle too hard, and there was no way that Duran was able to reach that fizzing ball, trying to split the two centre-halves. And Club Brugge, who, you're absolutely right, do look very confident in possession now, have it back again.
But you know what, average players, Joe, will look unbelievable when they've got 10, 20 yards of space. At the minute, Aston Villa are not pressing together, they're going in their 1s and 2s, and they're allowing Club Brugge to kind of plough easily, and that's what I'm talking about. If they all go forward and all press, then we'll see how good Club Brugge are, but at the minute it's far too simple for them.
And Jashari, left of centre with Villa backing off. Aston Villa playing from left to right in the second half. Little to cheer so far for the 1,470 travelling fans who have sold out their section of the ground. Lots of Villa fans getting to Bruges early to soak up the atmosphere. But their team trail in the Champions League. Live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. Now the ball is with De Kuyper. Clatters the ball high downfield, headed away by Diego Carlos with ease. It's retrieved by Tielemans, just inside the centre circle. A square pass to his left, and the tall Pau Torres, the Spaniard, long sleeve shirt on. Back square to Diego Carlos again. First ever meeting between these two clubs. Villa's first meeting with a Belgian club since 82, the famous days of 82 in the semi-final against Olympiacos. Now here is Pau Torres again. Just over 20 minutes of normal time to go. Kamara takes up possession. 35 yards out, all a bit leaden-footed and one pace from Aston Villa at the moment. Out on the right is Bailey. Can he find an injection of speed into the game? He takes on the defender, gets the dead ball, and he pulls it back across on a good delivery, intercepted by Jashari. Cleared away by Zolis to find Jutla, who's held up play. Knocks it back to De Kuyper, and he fires it high over the top. Pau Torres will get there easily in front of Zolis to send it back to the goalkeeper. Are they doing enough at the moment, your former club, Darren Bell?
Not at the minute, no. I mean, that was more positive from Leon Bailey, trying to get to the byline, trying to get across him. But it's so one-paced. I mean, there's no one running in behind him. I know Watkins has done it there.
And chasing up the middle, he's momentarily held it up in front of Ordonez, but you have to give Ordonez credit. He is winning that one-on-one battle with Ollie Watkins in the second half.
Yeah, he is. I mean, other than that chance that Ollie Watkins had in that first half, he's not really had much to feed off. He's been feeding off scraps a little bit. But again, they've got to find a way to up the tempo, Aston Villa. People start running in behind. At least if Watkins starts running in behind, that will create space. That will open up a gap between the defence and the midfield players from Club Brugge. And then you get your Jacob Ramsey's in there, your John Durans who can come off and then start to link play. But at the minute, it's all straight lines, it's all one-paced. And Club Brugge, as I said, even average sides that don't play in the Champions League will be able to nullify Aston Villa playing at this pace.
Arsenal in Milan to face Inter shortly. Live on Talksport, we'll focus. We'll turn to Italy once we're done here. Watkins with his back to goal. Feeds Kamara inside the centre circle. Aston Villa still a bit ponderous as they look for an equaliser. 20 minutes to go. Unai Emery is gesticulating now. Very expressive on the near side touchline. Kamara tried to carry it forward. He ran into traffic, and here is Zolis. Thread to find it by Van Aken. Down into the left edge of the penalty area. Checks back inside. Zolis lays it square. Edge of the box. Over the top by Scott Olsen. First time left-footed, running onto the pullback. Couldn't keep the effort down. And we're at the stage in the game where a second Club Brugge goal might have meant all 3 points for them.
I mean, it's great play from Christoph Zolis, and he just leaves the ball in there, and he's almost saying to Scott Olsen, who's better than that, by the way. I mean, edge of the box on the D, middle of the goal, perfect, no defenders in front of him. He's got to hit the target there, and he almost gets, it's like a rash finish. He just tries to get too much on it, and he takes it over the bar. But good play again from Club Brugge. Good run in there from Zolis as well, who's just taking a well-earned breather.
And Zolis, just taking on some instructions, but there is going to be a Club Brugge change. I think it is Scott Olsen's final touch, that left-footed drive over the top. He is replaced by Kemsteen Talby, another winger who has come through the youth setup here at Club Brugge, 19 years of age. His team defending a 1-0 lead here on Talksport. The ball is thundered up to the halfway line. Jutgla can't get it under control. Pau Torres for Aston Villa, trying to force his way down the middle. He has nearly found John Duran. Duran hacked at it, left-footed. Aston Villa can't hold up possession, but they doing it back with Ramsey. Out to the left and Watkins, who drives forward at pace. Only half away by Ordonez. Seiss got back to whip it off the toes of Duran. Clears it away only as far as Jacob Ramsey. Aston Villa looking for an equaliser. Maatsen will steer it backwards now to the feet of Carlos, and now Konsa wide to the near side where Bailey takes up possession. He's one-on-one with the defender De Kuiper. Couple of step-overs, and then Zolis in front of Bailey slips. Bailey hooks it a high left-footed cross, headed away by Seiss at the back post. It drops to Ian Maatsen on the volley, and it's a dipping effort that's a couple of yards over the top. He can't hit them, Ian Maatsen, yet to score for Aston Villa. It was an improvised effort, just a little too high.
Why not for Ian Maatsen? I mean, he's got the box is absolutely crowded with Club Brugge players. And unless he's going to cross it to Duran or Ollie Watkins, the ball would have to be so precise that he just thought, why not? And he got the execution all wrong. But what I would say from Club Brugge is they just look a yard sharper all over the pitch than Aston Villa. When the ball drops down, they're winning the second balls. When the ball goes into Ollie Watkins, they're the ones getting their footings. They're the ones who are running a little bit harder.
And if Aston Villa do lose this game, the manner in which the goal was conceded will really irk them for some time.
Do you know what? It will irk them, Joe. But when you look at chances created, you'd have to say, if Aston Villa do lose this game tonight, that it would have been deserved from Club Brugge, because Martinez first half made a number of really good saves. We've seen Scott Olsen just there blast the ball over the bar when he's better than that from you'd have to say 18 yards out. He puts it over the bar. They've had so many opportunities. The only chance I can think of for Aston Villa was the John McGinn header / I think he should have volleyed it. But other than that, they've not really created too many chances, Aston Villa.
We'll keep you up to date with everything in the Championship tonight, plus the Champions League, of course, as Bailey tears down the inside right channel, scoops in the cross. It's a really poor delivery from Bailey. Straight into the gloves of Mignolet, who didn't have to move. Bailey, hands to his head, looks so frustrated with himself, but his quality in key areas has seriously been lacking tonight.
Yeah, and that one there again, it's only Ollie Watkins who's made that run to the near post, but again, Leon Bailey, he's so much better than that. He's got to put it into an area.
Here come Club Brugge with the substitute Talby racing up the far side. Maatsen gets a tackle in at the expense of a throw. 16 minutes to go. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0 in the Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. The Sports Bar tonight from 10 on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 03717 223344. Aston Villa fans to have your say. That's a dreadful ball out of play by Jashari. And Unai Emery has cut such a frustrated figure in this second half. It's been quite an indisciplined display, I think, from Aston Villa.
And look at Unai Emery's reaction on the sideline. He's absolutely gone crazy because he's obviously screaming at one of the centre forwards to come out wide and show an option, and they're not doing that, and that's why they're getting pinned in a little bit.
Off goes Christoph Zolis, formerly of Norwich City, but has really made a home for himself here at Club Brugge, has impressed tonight. And Nielsen on a yellow card is also going to leave the field. And here come the two to come on for the home team. Bjorn Meyer, the big defender, and an opportunity for Vetlesen to take to the field as well. But it's that stage in the game where Club Brugge will certainly be thinking more about protecting their lead. They have a poor record against English clubs. In fact, they haven't won any game against an English club, Club Brugge, since the mid-90s in the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup quarter-final against Chelsea. A tie that they eventually went on to lose on aggregate. Here is Diego Carlos for Aston Villa. Less than 15 minutes to go. 1-0 they trail. He feeds John Durant. Back to goal, the number 9, but he can't nutmeg the on-rushing Jashari, who has put in a very disciplined display in front of that back four. Poor header by Jutla, but Jashari's there. No Aston Villa player was quick enough to react to a loose ball. Midway inside opposition territory. England are 49 for 4 in the third ODI against the West Indies in Barbados. Commentary continues right now over on Talksport 2. Another big sporting night on the Talksport network, and it all continues across tomorrow, of course. Manchester United against PAOK, West Brom against Burnley, Galatasaray against Tottenham. Here come the home team as it's knocked forward down the middle. Talbi left edge of the penalty area, steers it across. Saiz gets to it. The angle is very tight. Saiz square and turn wide of goal. What an opportunity for Bjorn Meyer. Only just onto the field, the Dutchman. First touch of the ball, and he could have sealed it there and then for Club Brugge.
Well, he's lucky because the linesman puts his flag up, and I mean it's a big chance, a huge chance for Bjorn Meyer. But again, Aston Villa trying to squeeze up, and to be fair, on that occasion they get it right, because I thought he was about 2 yards offside, and that was one of those frustrating situations where you want the linesman to just put the flag up so they can put the ball down and get on with it. But again, they're being very, very brave with that high line, because if they time it right, they're in on goal.
And Duran holds the ball up well for Aston Villa. Lays it square to the on-rushing Kamara. Tripped from behind by Vetlesen. And that will be a yellow card. The referee shrugs at Vetlesen as if to say, well, what could I do? Had to produce the yellow card. It was a tactical foul from the number 10. And a free kick to Aston Villa midway inside opposition territory. A dead centre as we look at it. 12 minutes left now plus added time, and it's, again, Darren, we talked about it in the first half, not a great deal of angle here for Youri Tielemans.
No, again, I hate it because eventually sometimes, he's dead straight, he's about 30 yards out, 40 yards out, there's no angle on it, he's going to try and clip it in the box, and 9 times out of 10 from this position it goes out for a goal kick. He's got to try and change the angle.
And Tielemans has chipped the ball right of centre towards Duran and Diego Carlos, and I think Duran got the final touch, but the loose ball easily gathered by Mignolet. And Aston Villa are barely threatened from an attacking sense in this second half. They are going to make a double change as Ian Maatsen has given the ball away in the left back position. It's won back by Jutla for Club Brugge. Talbi quickly dispossessed by Maatsen with a great industry and tenacity there to win it back. And back it goes to Pau Torres. Square ball to Martinez. Stay with us on Talksport. We've got more live Champions League commentary coming up for you next. Inter Milan against Arsenal. They're live at 8 o'clock, and goals as they go in the Champions League and in the Championship tonight. Millwall Leeds, Coventry Derby, Blackburn Stoke, Luton Cardiff, the leaders Sunderland away at Preston. The ball is with Martinez, the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Well, they only want one chance. Maybe they only need one chance, but it doesn't look like coming at the moment.
Maybe. It looks like Buendia's going to come on, who's that creative spark. But at the minute, with 2 strikers on, again there, John Duran giving the ball away. He's managed to draw a foul, but I think him or Watkins haven't held the ball up well enough today. They haven't allowed Aston Villa to build anything because it's bouncing off them. The Club Brugge defenders are getting really tight to make it difficult, but in this type of situation, you've got to hold it, and that will bring Youri Tielemans, that will bring the midfield players up, and then you can build from there.
Here comes Emi Buendia as Aston Villa look to rescue something late on here. Ollie Watkins is going to go off, as is Diego Carlos, and the other change will see Costa and Ned Jelkovic, the 18-year-old, take to the field. 10 minutes to go. Gabi Agbonlahor, former Aston Villa striker, watching with us here on Talksport. Gabi, can Villa get an equaliser?
I think it's looking very unlikely. They're getting men back very well, Brugge, but we're playing too slow. It's a bit sluggish. We've got no width. The players look like, conceding that goal has really affected them, but you've got to give credit to Brugge. They're making it really hard, organised, getting tight to players. None of the Villa forward line can get the balls into their feet and have any time. So it's going to be very difficult to find an equaliser.
Thanks, Gabi. Less than 10 minutes of normal time to go. And Aston Villa still trail. Here's Nedjelkovic. Couldn't quite get it under control midway inside opposition territory, but he's got it back right-hand edge of the area. Wide to the near side, and Bailey. Bailey deflected cross. Hit it away at the near post by Ordóñez. That was a really brave header. Otherwise, Aston Villa might have stolen in for a late equaliser. Still got plenty of time as Kamara wins it back off Jutla. Club Brugge want a free kick. They don't get it from the referee. Almost everybody in blue and black behind the ball. Aston Villa playing from left to right in the second half. Forward by Pau Torres. Buendia tries a deft flick. He's blocked off. Matsson's early ball. Giroud on the turn. He slips at the vital moment. It's going to be cleared away by McKaylee. And well held up by Jutla. And deep inside his own half of the field. He's playing almost as a defensive midfielder, the centre forward at the moment. I think you have to admire Club Brugge. And I think Gabby absolutely right, Darren Bent. They are well organised, and actually they've been good value for their 1-0 lead, I think.
Do you know they haven't? But again, Aston Villa, from an attacking perspective, haven't made it difficult. And in this type of scenario there, where Club Brugge is still trying to play out from the back, Aston Villa are not going. They're not pressing them together. Like John Duran, Leon Bailey, if they beat this press, they're out again. But that's what they've got to do. All step onto them and try and get something. Because a point in this game isn't the worst result. But what you don't want to do is go and lose it by giving it back to Club Brugge. Just been disappointed in the final third of Aston Villa. Haven't played with nowhere near enough intensity.
If they were to lose, it would bring a little more jeopardy to Aston Villa's hopes of reaching the knockout stages automatically. Poor ball by Kamara. Up the inside right channel. He just needed to play it into the feet of Duran, and he completely missed his opponent. His teammate, rather, as Mignolet collects possession and runs down a few seconds for Club Brugge, who lead 1-0. Much to ponder for Unai Emery ahead of the trip to Anfield on Saturday. That's another live and exclusive Talksport commentary from the Premier League for you. 8 o'clock this Saturday. Header infield by Maya for Club Brugge, and now Vetlesen brings it down midway inside his own half, very calmly back to Ordóñez with the red boots on, and Van Aken. Maybe this performance from Club Brugge is an argument that there can be good, strong depth in the Champions League, even in this new league phase format, and the vast majority of the 29,000 or so are hopping up and down. And what a great reverse ball by Van Aken up the middle. Meyer was chasing, but Martinez off his line to hammer it away from danger.
Yeah, right idea, right ball, but just got the timing of the run all wrong. But I think what's disappointing me most about Aston Villa today is that I expected a reaction after the Spurs result of the weekend. 4-1 was so unlike them. And they just, I wouldn't say they've not shown up today, but they just haven't caused Club Brugge anything to think about. They've not played with any real tempo. They've not created any real chances. It's all been one-paced. They've not really got after Club Brugge as well and made it difficult. So I think if you're Unai Emery, I can understand why he's so frustrated on the sideline, because I expected Aston Villa to turn up here and win. Not easily, but I thought they're better than what they've shown today. And it just hasn't been that way.
Ordóñez blocked off by Duran, who has cut the frustrated figure tonight, like so many in the Aston Villa 11. Quite a few poor performances in the forward areas, but defensively too for Aston Villa. And of course, this is the dilemma for Unai Emery: the midweek football followed by tough encounters in the Premier League. The pressure to make changes with a squad that isn't necessarily the biggest in terms of depth.
I mean, they had a taste of it, didn't they? Because they were in Europe last year. I know this is a different level in terms of competition and quality, but I thought that they had a little taste of it, so I thought they'd be more prepared, and they have been. I mean, listen, this is one game. If they were to get beat, we are talking about only one game. I mean, they've lost to Club Brugge, but they've beaten Bayern, they've beaten, do you know what I mean, some good sides. So, yeah, it would be a bump in the road, but when you look at their performances of late, you do go, well, was this performance and was this result coming? Because I don't think you're going to afford to take liberties in the Champions League.
Juventus in the Champions League to come next for Aston Villa. That in late November. Dink forward up the inside left channel towards Ramsey. Thundered away on the volley by Ordóñez. 5 minutes to go on Talksport. Aston Villa still trail by a goal to nil as they desperately seek an equaliser. England 64 for 4 in the third ODI against the West Indies. Live on Talksport 2 right now. Here come Club Brugge on the break. Down the left-hand side is Jashari. Looping cross to the back post is a poor one. Martinez so quick off his line to gather the ball. It wasn't anywhere near Jutla. Martinez high above his head. Quick throw out, and Aston Villa can try and build an attack with Kamara in possession. Unai Emery hopping up and down on the near side touchline again. Here's Nedjelkovic. Back in field to Konsa. Walking pace, this from Konsa. No real movement ahead of him.
I mean, that was perfect what you said there, Joe, because there's no one running in behind, there's no one coming off the feet. I mean, Buendia's done it there, but he's given the ball away again. But no one's creating any angles, no one's really trying to unsettle this Club Brugge defence. You need movement.
Kamara wins it back and drives up the middle. He's 25 yards out, he shoots low, and it's wide of the near post. Kamara didn't quite catch it as he would have wanted. Left-footed effort, and in the end somewhat dragged it wide of goal. Just opened up for him for a moment.
I mean, John Duran's there shouting with his arms up, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't move or anything. He's marked by two players. If he wants the ball there, he either stand still or really bust the gut to get in behind and create an angle. The fact that he's just standing next to Kamara, I mean, I'm not quite sure what he's screaming and shouting at.
Not scored in over a year. Boubacar Kamara, of course, he had that long-term ACL injury, which he returned from to play football again at the start of October. Conser on the halfway line. Inter Milan against Arsenal to come, live on Talksport, with goals as they go in from the EFL tonight. Big night of football in the Championship. And plus, of course, the latest from the Champions League. Smuggled away by Seiss upfield for Club Brugge, who are happy to hold what they have. You can understand that. Leading 1-0, it would be a big win for them. And it would lift them up to 6 points, only 3 behind Aston Villa for the league phase campaign. Conser, right edge of the centre circle. Aston Villa again ponderous in possession and like statues in the final third. No great movement from Aston Villa here.
There's no movement whatsoever, lack of movement. Bailey's coming to feet. John Duran just wants to tramp in the defender. But other than that, they've just not created any problems. They've not asked any questions of Club Brugge. And so far, you'd have to say Club Brugge deserve the result they've got currently at the minute. But looking at just some performances, you just expect so much more, because in attacking areas, Villa have got so much quality there, but we just haven't seen it often enough in this game this evening.
And quite raucous, ironic cheers from the home section as Pau Torres balloons a left-footed ball high over the top. And Nicky Hyen, the head coach of Club Brugge, is now out of his seat and standing in the tiny little technical area. Mignolet has taken a long time with this goal kick, and eventually he does clatter the ball downfield. There are only 2 minutes of normal time left, and Aston Villa are a goal down, and Pau Torres and Maatsen are backpedaling under pressure. Jutgla nearly got there in front of Pau Torres, but he showed good composure to spin away from Jutgla and keep the ball. Tielemans down the middle to Buendia. Lovely flick to his left and Maatsen. Maatsen's got space, pushes it on to Duran. Duran, was he fouled by McKaylee? No, he got something on the ball. And Duran, I think, was looking for it there. McKaylee kept his composure, and in the end it's out of play for a Club Brugge throw.
Fantastic defending. He does dive in, but he puts his foot there, McKaylee. And again, John Duran's looking, thinking, did he get any of the ball? And he didn't. And then that composure, when he's got Ian Maatsen flying in to try and make the block, just Cruyff turns him, chops him on the byline. Really, really composed, good defending.
Aston Villa, 90 seconds plus added time from a first Champions League defeat of this much-awaited campaign. The first time Villa have played a part in top-level European football in 42 seasons. Here comes another change for Club Brugge. Off goes Jutgla, who's worked hard, and Romeo Vermont will come on in his place. A famous victory for Club Brugge, it looks like being. On a night where Aston Villa will have regrets in terms of the lack of tidiness in their play, the lack of refinement in the final third, and a really careless mistake for a penalty that they should never have had to concede.
I think, yeah, that's the disappointing part, the manner in which they've conceded that goal, because it's subjective, should I say. But for me, it's the right decision. But I think this just tells you where Villa are at the minute in this little run of fixtures that they're having, where they've not won in 4 now, if they don't win this game.
Forward by Martinez, hoisted high, swinging right to left to the far side of the field. Pau Torres, he's about 25 yards from goal. He tried a reverse ball to Buendia. There are so many blue and black shirts in the way. Almost everybody's back for Club Brugge as they clear long towards the new substitute. Vermont is tangling with Conser, and the free kick goes the way of Aston Villa as we head towards stoppage time. Only a few seconds of normal time remaining, live here on Talksport. And there'll be 5 minutes of added time. Pau Torres, shy of the halfway line. Left to right with a crossfield ball. Again, it's a poor one from Pau Torres. Straight to De Kuiper. who is in a foot race with Ned Jelkovic, who wins it back for Aston Villa. Then Buendia's touch is a heavy one. It's contagious, this carelessness tonight for Aston Villa. But can they find an effort on goal? Can they find an equaliser in stoppage time? Bad foul by Kamara on halfway. And the referee reaches for his pocket. It's a yellow card. Caught Vetlesen.
Yeah, and I would say it was a bit naughty there, and the referee's going to reach for the yellow card, but it looked like to me, Boubacar Kamara, he almost pulled out a little bit. Well, no, he doesn't pull out, but he just doesn't really catch him. He catches him maybe with the top of his thigh, you'd have to say he catches him with, but is that really a booking? I mean, it looks worse than it actually is, but again, that almost sums up Aston Villa's performance tonight, a yard off it all over the pitch.
England have improved to 74 for 4 now in the cricket in Barbados against the West Indies. That third ODI is live over on Talksport 2. We've got ball-by-ball commentary. Aston Villa trail by a goal to nil in Bruges, and there are just under 4 of the 5 added minutes remaining. And the referee's blown up for a free kick in favour of Aston Villa. There was a handball, I think, from Maya, the substitute. Kamara plays little 1-2 with Konsa, and then infield to Tielemans. Out on the left-hand side is Torres. He's got space to carry the ball forward, up towards the halfway line. Last knockings maybe here for Aston Villa. 3.5 minutes to go. Lovely way to pass to Maatsen in the area. Back towards Duran, who didn't anticipate it. In the way was McKayley to smuggle it clear.
Not sharp enough from John Duran. I think Ian Maatsen does fantastically well to get down the line, and he cuts it to a really good area, and then John Duran, he's on his heels. If he's on his toes there, he goes onto the ball, meets it, and he gets a shot at goal, but he's just on his heels, and again, opportunity gone.
Maatsen will take the throw. Led with the edge of the 18-yard box. 3 minutes of injury time left. Aston Villa trail 1-0. The ball is cleared away by Ordóñez. Back to Maatsen on the far side, the left. He feeds Ramsey now. Infield to Tielemans. Tielemans back out to the left-hand side. Pau Torres with time to deliver, left-footed. Oh, it nearly reached Duran. It was well headed away by McKayley, who's been outstanding tonight for Club Brugge. They lead 1-0 and they've only got 2.5 minutes to see out. Inter Milan against Arsenal on the way for you on Talksport. Tielemans ball. Down the middle, too casual. Aston Villa will have to build again with Konsa, but they're nearly out of time. Unai Emery's almost on the pitch as he urges his team to come forward again. Konsa dragged to the ground by the substitute Vermont. It'll be a free kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, when he's screaming at him to get the ball wide, I think that's what he wants. He wants the ball to go wide. He wants crosses in the box so they can overload on the far side, and that's the Villa again. They're not seeing it. They're turning down easy passes. They're not really taking any risks.
Martinez was asking if he should come forward. He's been told to stay back. Here's Tielemans, midway inside opposition territory. Poor ball, cleared away by Vermont again. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Aston Villa staring Champions League defeat in the face for the first time this season. Club Brugge lead by a goal to nil. Forward by Tielemans, high up the right. Flicked by Buendia, headed away by Maya, and then Jashari. It'll be a throw to Aston Villa. Near side the right, taken by Ned Jelkovic. 90 seconds left. Buendia skips in field. He's laid it square, nudged it into the path of Maatsen. Back to Konsa. Too narrow for Aston Villa. Everybody behind the ball for Club Brugge. 80 seconds left. The flick by Buendia into the path of Maatsen. Still there, dead centre. They're midway into opposition territory. Tielemans picks up Ned Jelkovic. Trying to turn, he can't do so. Cleared away by Maya upfield. And he's bellowing at them to get it wide, Unai Emery. They're not doing it. Oh, and Vermont has gone down. It looked like he played the referee there. He's gone down clutching his face as though caught by the flailing arm of Konsa. My initial reaction was there wasn't any contact. Free kick's been given. Less than a minute to go. Aston Villa trail 1-0.
Yeah, I hate seeing decisions like that because clearly Konsa's just trying to hold him off there, and yeah, maybe it might be a little bit naughty, but it's not a foul, certainly. He's trying to protect the ball. He's trying to drive with it, whereas Vermont's trying to pull him back and try and stop that attack, so I hate seeing decisions like that.
And former Aston Villa striker Darren Bent with me tonight for commentary. Live on Talksport, and Villa are nearly out of time. I mean, Vermont has sold the referee a dummy there.
I just hate seeing free kicks out because he's obviously got his hand stretched out, Ezri Konsa, and he's just trying to protect the ball. It's not a foul. There's no intent there.
All smiles for the vast majority at the Jan Bredel Stadium, and he's being treated here, Vermont. There might be an extra minute for Aston Villa once play gets back underway, but they just haven't looked like finding an equaliser in this second half. And A daunting task of Liverpool at the weekend.
Their performance has to be better than this, because Club Brugge, yes, have done really well and played really well tonight. Against Liverpool at the weekend, it's a different kettle of fish. When you make mistakes, they will punish you every single time.
Consi yellow carded. 5.5 minutes of added time have been played. That's 30 seconds over the allotted 5, but we might have a minute or so still to go. De Kuyper pumps the ball long into the Villa half. A flick by Van Aken, whose penalty separates the two teams. 1-0 to Club Brugge on Talksport. And they've got the ball where they want it, the home team. It's with Jashari, middle of the Villa half. He whips a high ball to the back post, headed away by Nedjelkovic. We've had nearly 6 minutes of added time. There must only be seconds remaining as Leon Bailey miscues. It's a Club Brugge throw right by the corner flag, and that is just about that. The referee takes a look at his watch, and Club Brugge are ready now to acclaim what would be a famous win under the lights and a most disappointing defeat for Aston Villa. After such an encouraging start to their new European campaign, Aston Villa are beaten in the Champions League for the first time this season. The roar all around the stadium from the Club Brugge supporters. The coaching staff huddled together. They have beaten Aston Villa here by a 0-0, and Aston Villa, you have to say, deserve to be on the losing side. A sloppy performance in defence and in attack, and ultimately the goal they conceded, farcical as it was, summed up the display. A penalty given away by Tyrone Mings in bizarre circumstances. He picked up the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box as if to give it back to Martinez, but the referee, rightly on a technicality, adjudged that play had already been restarted. Penalty was given. Van Aken drilled it beyond Martinez, and Villa, despite huffing and puffing, were unable to find an equaliser late on. A daunting task away at Liverpool on Saturday, live on Talksport, and maybe their hopes of progressing automatically to the knockout stages not quite as assured as they thought coming into tonight. A disappointing night for Aston Villa, beaten by Club Brugge by a 0-0.
The other game, by the way, Shakhtar Donetsk 2, Young Boys 1. Champions League table looks like this. Liverpool remain top, 100% so far. Aston Villa are down in 5th after that defeat. And Gabby Bonhor, Darren Bent, first of all. We will talk about the goal that decided the game shortly. But Darren Bent, where have Aston Villa gone? That was nothing like the Aston Villa that's been so good last season and this season. Where have they gone?
Yeah, no, they just didn't show up. I expected a reaction after that result against Spurs at the weekend, where that second half performance just wasn't good enough. But they didn't really ask Club Brugge too many questions. There was no, creativity in their play. There was no tempo. There was no energy. There's no real want to win the ball back. And to be fair to Club Brugge, they played this game tonight, like it was a cup final. They got after Aston Villa. They created chances. They made them defend. And yes, although the goal might be controversial, I think it was the right decision. But if you look on the face of the chances created and the saves either goalkeeper had to make, I think Club Brugge were the worthy winners.
And Gabby Bonhor, that was not an Aston Villa performance, was it?
No, not at all. I agree, Benty. I feel that if you look at the attempts on target from Aston Villa, only 2 attempts on target, 7 for Club Brugge. I just felt going forward, we lacked ideas. I think he started with McGuinness, number 10, didn't work. He changed that in the second half. And then there were a lot of changes that sort of disrupted the second half. But I just felt that we lacked width, we lacked ideas at times. But you have to give Club Brugge credit. Like Unai Emery said in the press conference, this is their Bayern Munich at home that we had. We done a job on Bayern Munich. Club Brugge done a job on us today. Their centre halves were fantastic. The whole back four were going in tight with our attackers. Didn't let them any space to breathe. Great performance on Club Brugge. But Aston Villa, 3 wins out of 4. You can't give them too much, negative words, because this happens in Europe. This is why the Champions League. You're not guaranteed to come to Club Brugge and get a win. So they'll learn from this. A lot of these players haven't played Champions League football before this season. So you don't be too negative on the team, but I'm sure the manager will learn a lot from this game.
Oh, you're right. I mean, you can't be too critical. They would have taken 3 wins out of 4 at the start of the Champions League campaign. Everybody would agree with you on that. It's just the manner of the defeat, the way they played. 1 shot on target. when Club Brugge had 7. Club Brugge were electric when the ball was turned over. Aston Villa looked a little bit slow, lethargic.
What frustrated me, Adrian, and Ben, you'll probably recognise it as well. Whenever Leon Bailey gets the ball, he wants to cut inside. Do you know, like, he had many chances to get down the line, get crosses in. That's what Club Brugge are doing. Very predictable. Our play seems to be, our wingers want to come inside too much. We need wingers that want to, like, get down the line, get crosses in. We've become very predictable today, and Club Brugge were prepared for it and done a great job on us.
Right, let's talk about the goal then, Darren Bent, because Tyrone Mings, great to have him back. He's an incredibly intelligent human being, but that was brainless. I mean, it's quite clear that the goal kick has been taken. What on earth are you doing picking a football up in the box in a Champions League game?
That's the thing, Aid. I think he tries to be too cute, and I've said it before. You have to look at players' reactions. If you look at Martinez in the way that he passed the ball to Tyrone Mings, he's clearly wanting him to play out. Even after the penalty had been taken and the goal went in, you look at Martinez's face, he's just almost looking thinking we've made a mistake there. Usually in that type of situation, if you're so aggrieved at a decision, you're still going on about it afterwards, you're still throwing your arms about. There's completely nothing from Martinez. So, as you said, Tyrone Mings, and yes, his first game back, and it's great to see him back. He's made a mistake there.
And very quickly, Gabby, you thought harsh.
Listen, I thought harsh at first, but I saw the replay and I have to agree. You know, I've got to put my Villa hat away. I've got to agree that, you know, Tyrone Mings there, you've just got to, like, keep on playing. You're trying to be too cute in a game where, you know, the referee's got to give that decision. But I want to see consistency, Adrian. Can we see that happen? Because a lot of teams do it. Pick the ball up in the box when the game's already started. As long as we see consistency, then you won't get no complaint from me. So I think the right decision. Just frustrating that the game is decided on a decision like that and a goal like that.
Absolutely agree. It's time now to pick out man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Darren Bent, who are you going for?
I'm going for the centre half, Brandon McKaylee. I thought the back four were fantastic and it was difficult to pick one of those back fours, but I think when he really needed to put a block on and make things happen, and when he was up against Ollie Watkins, up against John Duran, I thought Brandon McKaylee was fantastic, so yeah, I'm going for him.
And Gabby, you don't disagree with that?
No, I'll go for even the other centre half, Ordonez. Both of them were fantastic. You know, these players sometimes, Bentley and Adrian, we're not used to maybe going so tight in on every attacker. They weren't scared of the pace. They weren't scared of the strength of Duran. They were definitely, both of them, man of the match for me. So either centre half, I agree.
Brilliant to talk to both of you. Thank you very much, Gabby Agbon-Lahore and Darren Bent on commentary duty for Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. That was our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.